Chapter 23:13. The Challenge Begins. Chapter 23:13. The challenge begins. Everyone's eyes turned, each with their own thoughts. Senior, what are the rules of this competition? Someone asked. There are no rules. Whoever wants to fight can come up and challenge whoever you want. There are no rules. It's a free-for-all battle. Lan Cheng explained with a smile. Then, he waved his hand and a huge fighting ring appeared in the middle of the square. There was no banquet in the middle of RHE Square. It was obvious that it was for sparring. Now, who's going to fight first? Lan Cheng said. Then he'll start by throwing the brick to guide the jade. A voice was heard. Then, a young man in white rushed up the fighting ring. This young man's gaze swept across the area of the younger generation, and his voice resounded throughout the entire place. Fong Han, come up and fight. I'm not afraid of you. The person who was challenged shouted and rushed up the fighting ring. Without any unnecessary words, the two of them engaged in a fierce battle. The two of them were just ordinary Heaven's favorites. They were not top-tier Heaven's favorites because they did not control an ultimate law. The laws they controlled were King Path laws. Both of them were at the empty Emperor realm. They exchanged blows and the battle was extremely intense. The two of them exchanged hundreds of moves. In the end, the young man in white who went up the stage was more skilled and won. The challenges continued, but the ones who started were all ordinary geniuses. The geniuses who had mastered an ultimate law did not fight. Not long after, Lu Ming saw Long Chen, Desolate Force, and Huang Ling all challenge others. Long Chen, Feng Ling, and the others had not comprehended an ultimate law. They had only comprehended King Path laws. After not seeing each other for many years, their strength had also made great progress. They had mastered 3 to 4 King Path laws and their cultivation had reached the level of a 4-star Void Emperor. Those who were not born to be children of God would not be able to comprehend an ultimate law after becoming a sovereign. The difficulty was extremely high. However, as long as Long Chen, Feng Ling, and the others had not become emperors, they would have the opportunity to comprehend the ultimate maxim. Around the square, many important figures were drinking and chatting, watching with interest. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. 3 days later, almost all the ordinary paragons had fought. Finally, a paragon who had mastered an ultimate law came to fight. Many people immediately perked up and watched carefully. A battle between top Heaven's favorites was more exciting. At the same cultivation level, one's combat power was stronger than normal Heaven's favorites. Lu Ming saw Lan Yun, Yan Shi, and Xing Hengyi making their moves. Their talents were definitely top-notch, and they had all defeated their opponents one by one. This was especially true for Heng Xinghe, who had challenged several people in a row and won. However, Lu Ming did not make a move. His goal was 100 Chaos Gems. There was no use in making a move now. He just had to wait until the end. Boom. Suddenly, a tall and burly figure rushed up the fighting ring. His entire body was black, like an iron tower. Violent virtue. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. After not seeing him for many years, Baoda had become many times stronger. His muscles bulged and he was filled with explosive power. Body cultivators. I didn't think that there would be a prodigy of the body cultivator branch outside. Beside Lu Ming, a few elders who were Archean body cultivators suddenly became interested. They stared at Baoda and sized him up curiously. Baoda was like a wild dragon, and his gaze finally swept to a gray-robed young man. You, come up and fight. Baoda's voice echoed throughout the entire area. The gray-robed young man was the one who had followed Heavenly Emperor Kong Yin to the primordial realm. Furthermore, he had also cultivated the primordial cultivation system. Back then, the gray-robed youth had challenged Baoda, Aoku, and the ancient devil by himself and had easily defeated them. Baoda had always been brooding over this. Now that he had cultivated for many years and his strength had increased greatly, he naturally wanted to challenge the other party and regain his face. Buzz. The gray-robed young man rushed up the fighting ring. This time, I will defeat you alone. Baoda's eyes were filled with ferocity. He was like a giant beast with a terrifying aura. Make your move. The gray-robed young man spoke, and a powerful aura burst out from his body. Boom! The two of them moved at the same time, and they collided fiercely. A deafening boom erupted in the fighting ring, and the two figures were forced to retreat. The first move was a tie. Again! The two of them clashed again. Many people were watching with great interest. Even some of the great Emperor Realm and Heavenly Emperor Realm powerhouses were watching seriously. That was because the two of them cultivated the immemorial system. Baoda, an immemorial body cultivator. The gray-robed young man, primordial martial arts. The two of them fought the strong head-on and exchanged dozens of moves in the blink of an eye. Over the years, Baoda had become much stronger than before. He was actually able to fight with the gray-robed youth, and it was difficult to determine the victor in a short time. One had to know that the gray-robed young man had easily defeated them back then. This reminded Lu Ming of Celestial Emperor Kong Yin's words. Some of the Primordial Realm's top prodigies were as talented as the Heaven Realm's prodigies. It was just that they had limited resources, so their cultivation levels were weaker. That was why their combat strength was far inferior to the Heaven Realm's prodigies. But now, the Primordial Realm's prodigies had received the Heaven Realm's resources, and their cultivation levels had quickly caught up. Now, they could truly fight against the Heaven Realm's prodigies. This brat He is not bad. An old Archean body cultivator next to Lu Ming said with an interested expression. He's indeed not bad. The physical cultivation technique he practices isn't very brilliant, but he has such achievements. He's indeed a peerless talent in physical cultivation. If he's properly trained, his achievements will be limitless. Another old man said. It was obvious that the elders had a strong interest in brutal virtue. On the fighting ring, Baoda roared like a mad beast. His attacks were crazy. Towards the end, he even ignored his own defense and attacked crazily, adopting a fighting style where both sides would suffer. This made the gray-robed young man's face turn serious. In the end, he exchanged a few moves with Baoda in a row, and then floated backward out of the fighting ring. "I'm done, I admit defeat," the gray-robed youth said before returning to his seat. Haha. Baoda grinned and laughed wildly. Finally, his gaze swept over the other young men. He still wanted to fight. Baoda, that's enough. Now it's my turn. A voice was heard. Then, a figure rushed into the fighting ring. It was Creek. Baoda chuckled and got off the fighting ring. Then, he challenged a Heaven Realm's proud son of heaven. Furthermore, he had also defeated his opponent. What do these people from the Primordial Realm want to do? You all want to challenge the Heaven Realm's prodigies? In the area for young Heaven's favorites, a young man said coldly. The expressions of many Heaven Realm paragons changed slightly as they looked at the Primordial Realm paragons, such as Ming, Yuanyi, and Bubbles. However, Ming and Yuanyi didn't say anything. They just stared at the fighting ring. Meanwhile, Bubbles turned her head and looked around, not looking at the others. Chapter 23:14. The Battle for the Most Powerful Void Emperor. Chapter 23:14. The Battle for the Most Powerful Void Emperor. Next, Ancient Devil made his move. He also defeated an opponent. This made some of the Heaven Realm's elites' faces turn ugly. Buzz. Another figure rushed up the fighting ring. Yuanyi. Many people's gazes moved, especially those who knew the inside story. In the Primordial Realm, Yuanyi was the top genius, ranked third. Over the years, as the Primordial Realm's prodigies continued to grow, their influence in the Heaven Realm also grew. Lu Ming had become a saint emperor with many laws. This was unprecedented and shook the Heaven Realm. As for Ming, Bubbles, and the others, their strength increased rapidly and their fame grew among the younger generation in the Heaven Realm. Naturally, there were more people who went to understand the geniuses of the Primordial Realm. The battle results of the Ten Lands battle back then were also exposed, and many people knew about it. Yuanyi was ranked third in the Primordial Realm back then, second only to Lu Ming and Ming. His talent was absolutely shocking, and even in the Heaven Realm, he was the top. Some people even thought that he might be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Ninju in the future. Who is he going to challenge now? Yuanzin's eyes fell on Ming. Ming, come out and fight. Yuan Xin's voice rang out. Many people were surprised. Many people thought that Yuan Xen would also challenge the Heaven Realm's proud sons of heaven. They didn't expect that he would challenge Ming. That year, in the Battle of the 10 Lands of the Yuan continent, Yuan Xian was defeated by Ming. He must want to challenge and defeat him. Indeed. Many people nodded. Ming, dressed in white, was elegant and handsome, attracting the attention of many young women. He stood up, took a step forward, and landed on the fighting ring. Yuanxin, you weren't my match back then, and now, you're even less of a match for me. Ming said indifferently. He was full of confidence in himself. Don't be too full of yourself. Today, I will defeat you and prove that I'm stronger than you. It's a pity that Lu Ming is dead. Otherwise, I would also defeat him and prove to everyone who is the number one in the primordial realm. Yuan Xen said, her eyes shining with a strong desire to fight. His ambition was higher than the sky, but he could only get third place in the Battle of the 10 Lands back then. He was unwilling to give up, and he wanted to take back his throne as the number one in the primordial realm. Make your move, Ming said indifferently. His face was calm and indifferent, as if he didn't take Yuan Xin's words to heart. Boom! Yuan Xen burst out with a powerful aura. It was much stronger than when he fought Lu Ming in Yaoguang Ancient City. There were 4 different types of laws on his body, and they rushed toward Ming. With the Chaos Laws as the leader, the 4 different types of laws formed a terrifying superpower. Boom! Yuan Xen threw a punch, and mountains of chaos pressed down on Ming. A dazzling white light spread out from Ming's body. He pointed out a finger, and a bright light burst out, blasting toward those mountains. Boom! 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 The mountain created by Ming fell apart and exploded. Defeat! Then, Ming suddenly took a step forward and pressed down with his finger. Boom! A terrifying pressure pressed down on Yuan Xen. At the same time, a bright light spread toward Yuan Xen like a stormy sea. This was also a terrifying divine ability. With the laws of fate as the main source and the addition of other laws, the power was astonishing. Yuan Xen roared as he unleashed all his strength and attacked madly. However, his attacks were constantly being shattered and disintegrated by the light emitted by the heaven's will finger. In the end, those rays of light hit Yuan Xen. Yuan Xin's body trembled violently, and she spat out a large mouthful of blood as she was sent flying out of the battle platform. The entire venue fell silent. Many people looked at Ming in shock, especially the proud children of heaven from the primordial realm. They were the most surprised. Ming's strength was too terrifying. He had actually defeated Yuan Xian in just a few moves. Back then, during the Battle of the Primordial Realm's 10 Lands, Ming had to use many moves to defeat Yuan Xian. He had even used his ultimate move to defeat Yuan Xian. But now, he had easily defeated Yuan Xian. Obviously, Ming's improvement speed had far surpassed Yuan Xin's. No, that's impossible. Standing in the air, Yuan Xen was at a loss, clearly unable to accept all this. This time, he had wanted to defeat Ming and prove to everyone that he was the number one in the primordial realm. However, the final result was that he had suffered a crushing defeat. Furthermore, it had only been a few moves, and he had lost miserably. His strength was far from Ming's. "Yuanxin, you're too weak," Ming said indifferently. His words caused Yuan Xen to spit out another mouthful of blood, and her body swayed. Then, Ming stopped looking at him and looked at the other young heaven's favorites. When Ming's gaze swept over them, except for Jiuju, the other young men's faces all changed. From the attack just now, Ming's strength was simply unfathomable. No one knew what level he had reached. Who would he challenge next? In the end, the heavenly general's eyes fell on one of the young men. Oh, Yeming. He had always been known as the strongest Void Emperor among the younger generation of the Heaven Realm. Of course, ever since Lu Ming rose to power, he was no longer the strongest Void Emperor. Back then, when Lu Ming became a Void Emperor, he defeated him with a single spear. Was Ming going to challenge Oyu Yibing? "Oh Yabing, come out and fight." As expected, Ming's voice sounded. You're overestimating yourself, Yabing said coldly. He took a step forward and appeared on the fighting ring. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. Back then, he had suffered a crushing defeat at Lu Ming's hands, and his reputation had been greatly reduced. Therefore, he did not have a good impression of the prodigies from the primordial realm, who were the same as Lu Ming. Now, Tianming actually wanted to challenge him again. He would give Tianming an unforgettable lesson. Bang! Tianming took a step forward, and his body burst out with a shocking light. Following that, he pointed out with his finger. A dazzling light shot towards Oyu Yeming. Divine Weapon Seal Technique. Heaven's Will. Oyu Yabing shouted as he quickly formed a seal with his hands. A giant tower was formed and pressed down on Tianming. Boom! The giant tower and the light from the heavens will finger clash together, creating a shocking explosion. After that, the giant tower formed by Oyu Yabing started to shake crazily. It emitted a cracking sound and was covered in cracks. Yabing's expression changed. His hands quickly formed a seal, and a vase appeared. From the mouth of the vase, a large amount of sword qi was spat out. Then, another saber appeared and slashed toward Tianming. The River of Fate. At this moment, Tianming used his ultimate move, the River of Fate. He stood in the River of Fate as if he was immortal and could control fate. Tianming's move was much stronger than before. Back then, it had only been a single law of fate, but now, other laws had been added in, and its power was astonishing. Boom, boom, boom. Tianming and Oyu Yabing were engaged in an intense battle. The two of them each used their own techniques and ultimate moves, constantly clashing. On the fighting stage, all kinds of weapons flew around and all kinds of light burst forth. Chapter 23:15. Chapter 23:15, Bubbles, Strength. Chapter 23:15. Chapter 2315 Bubbles Strength. In the blink of an eye, Tianming and On Yibing had exchanged dozens of moves. At this moment, Tianming was actually starting to gain the upper hand. Tianming, what terrifying combat strength. He can actually suppress On Yeming. Many people were shocked. One must know that Oyu Yabing was the strongest illusionary emperor among the younger generation in the heaven realm. Back then, although he was defeated by Lu Ming, it was only because Lu Ming was too freakish and not because Oyu Yibing was weak. And now, even destiny was able to suppress Oyu Yibing. Tianming, as expected of the second-ranked genius of the primordial realm. He's too shocking, and his talent is terrifying. That's right. If the primordial realm had not produced an even more abnormal Lu Ming, he would have been invincible. The laws of fate, every single one of them is abnormal. Once they grow, their achievements will be limitless. The surroundings were filled with the sound of discussion. Many people sighed. Destiny talent was terrifying. In the future, he would definitely be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Nine Ju and even surpass some of the Nine Ju. However, everyone thought of Lu Ming immediately. Although destiny was strong, it was still suppressed by Lu Ming. Everyone sighed. It was not that destiny was not strong, but Lu Ming was too abnormal and could not be understood with common sense. 11 Yabing roared in anger. He was actually being suppressed by the heavenly fate. He was unwilling to accept this and wanted to erupt with all his strength. He attacked madly, wanting to turn the situation around. He formed all kinds of divine weapons and attacked Tianming. Unfortunately, these divine weapons kept exploding and shattering under the attack of Tianming. The more Tianming fought, the stronger he became. His advantage continued to increase and he completely suppressed Oyu Yeming. Bang! In the end, Oyu Yabing was sent flying. He spat out a large mouthful of blood as he was sent flying out of the battle stage. Oyu Yabing had been defeated. This heaven's favorite, who had been known as the #1 Void Emperor, had been defeated once again. What powerful strength! The primordial realm really produced a few prodigies. Other than Lu Ming, Tianming should be the strongest among the Void Thearchs. Yes, among the Void Emperors, no one is a match. Many people were discussing that Tianming's reputation had reached its peak. Some of the 9 absolutes looked at Tianming with a serious expression. When Ming became a true emperor in the future, he would definitely be a huge threat to them. However, Yuanyi and Lin Xiaofeng's eyes were calm and revealed great confidence. Ming didn't continue the challenge. He left the fighting ring and returned to his seat. Now, it's time for the battle between the 9 absolutes. Many people thought in their hearts and became more and more expectant. However, at this moment, a small figure appeared on the fighting ring in a flash. That is, a space-time spirit mouse. Many people's eyes moved. Bubble! The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Bubbles was about to make a move. It had been many years since he had seen Bubbles in action. Lu Ming wanted to see how strong Bubbles' combat strength had become. The top 10 war beasts had amazing talent. Now that they had received guidance from a mighty figure of the heaven realm, their progress would definitely be amazing. Bubbles' gaze swept around and finally landed on Heng Xinghe and Yuan Xing. The two of you come up. 111 let you join forces. Chirp chirp. Bubbles pursed her lips, and the crisp sound reverberated throughout the entire area. This guy is indeed going to challenge the Star River and Yuan Xing. Lu Ming smiled. Heng Xing River and Yuan Xing had a grudge against Lu Ming. In the past, they had been targeting Lu Ming. Bubbles naturally remembered it. Heng Xinghe and Yuan Xin's expressions turned ugly. I alone am enough to deal with you, the one I defeated back then. Why do I need 2 people? Yuan Xing said indifferently and rushed up the fighting ring. You can't do it. I'll defeat you in 1 move. He pouted indifferently, revealing a look of disdain. Haha, defeat me in 1 move? Ridiculous, simply ridiculous. Yuan Xing laughed crazily. Bubbles actually said that she wanted to defeat him in 1 move. She couldn't even fulfill her destiny. Who did she think she was? What a joke. You make the first move. 111 let you make the first move. Otherwise, you won't have the chance anymore, Chirpy. Peoba said, as if she did not care about Yuan Xing at all. Yuan Xing was furious. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Yuan Xing shouted and rushed toward the bubble. At the same time, he unleashed his strongest combat strength. Yuan Xing did not dare to be careless in the face of the space-time spirit rat. He used his strongest combat power in his first attack. He was surrounded by all sorts of laws as he charged towards Bubbles. However, when he was halfway there, his body froze in midair. The various laws that covered his body disappeared without a trace. Yuan Xin's expression changed drastically. With a furious roar, she once again controlled the laws, but the moment the laws appeared, they disappeared. Time law, it's time law. Using time laws to control the power of time, traveling through time, returning to the moment when the other party didn't use any laws. Therefore, once Yuan Xin's laws came out, they disappeared. How terrifying! Many people saw the trick and were shocked. This was already mobilizing the power of time. He was only an empty emperor, but he could do this. He was indeed worthy of being a space-time spirit rat. At this moment, Bubbles appeared in front of Yuan Xing and kicked her in the face. Yuan Xing was sent flying out of the fighting ring like a broken sandbag and landed heavily on the ground. She spat out a mouthful of blood and her face was completely swollen. She had lost. Yuan Xing had lost. Bubbles had really only used 1 move. Many people were shocked. Bubbles' combat strength had exceeded their expectations. Tianming's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at Bubbles with a solemn expression. Useless. Peoba muttered, no longer looking at Yuan Xing. This caused Yuan Xing to spit out another mouthful of blood. That was anger. Today, Yuan Xing had suffered a huge blow. He had wanted to defeat Ming and take revenge for the humiliation he had suffered back then. However, in the end, he was easily defeated by destiny. Now, he was defeated by Bubbles in 1 move. Back then, Bubbles had been his defeated opponent. Now, however, she had defeated him with a single move. This was hard for him to accept. Bubbles ignored him and swept his gaze across the remaining young men. Those who were caught by his gaze had a change in expression. Will he challenge the heavenly mandate realm? Many people thought so. In the end, Bubbles did not challenge heaven's will. Instead, her gaze fell on Ou Yibing. You, come out and fight." Bubbles pointed at Oyu Yabing and said. Yabing's face was extremely dark. Bubbles actually challenged him? But today he had to fight the challenge. He couldn't back down, or his reputation would be completely ruined. He stepped out and landed on the fighting ring. Although your space-time nomological laws are profound, it also depends on the opponent. If the opponent's strength is greater than yours, your space-time nomological laws will not work. Im not Yuan Xian. I'll use a powerful force to directly break your space-time nomological laws. Yabing said. Many people were moved. That was indeed the case. And NBSP-RHE space-time laws were extremely profound and unpredictable. They could manipulate the power of time and space, making them terrifying. However, there was no law that was truly invincible. When one's power reached a certain level, one could break all laws. As long as one's strength was strong enough, one could break through the space-time laws. Chapter 23:16, The Great Battle of the Nine Supremes. Chapter 23:16, The Great Battle of the Nine Supremes. You talk too much. If you don't make a move, then 111 make a move. Pow Pow mumbled before suddenly charging towards the other party. His speed was extremely fast, as though he was traveling through the void. Yabing did not dare to be careless. He used the divine weapon seal technique and surrounded his body with all sorts of weapons. The weapon trembled and shattered the void, stopping the bubbles from attacking. Yabing's strength was indeed much stronger than Yuan Xin's. His combat strength was shocking and could already affect Bubbles' space-time law. Therefore, Bubbles naturally could not defeat Oyu Yeming as easily as she did with Yuan Xin. However, after the two of them exchanged blows, Bubbles still had the upper hand. Bubbles' figure flickered. No matter how Oyu Yeming attacked, he could not hit Bubbles. In fact, under the influence of Bubbles' space-time laws, Oyu Yeming's speed had slowed down significantly. The speed at which he could form the divine weapon seal had also slowed down significantly. After a few dozen moves, he was sent flying by Bubbles and was severely injured. Yabing had been defeated again. He was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He had suffered 2 consecutive defeats today, both at the hands of the primordial realm's elites. The space-time spirit Mouse's talent is indeed amazing. It's only been a few years, and it's already reached this level. That's only natural. The top 10 beasts will all be peak experts when they mature. What do you guys think of the space-time spirit rat's combat strength compared to Tianming's? It's hard to say. I feel like the space-time spirit mouse is stronger. Not necessarily. Many people discussed animatedly. While they were shocked, they couldn't help but compare Tianming with Papa. Both of them had defeated Oyu Yabing. It could be said that they were standing at the peak of the empty emperor realm. However, it was really hard to compare who was stronger. And NBSP in terms of laws, the fate laws were indeed stronger, even stronger than the space-time laws. However, a law also depended on who was using it. The space-time spirit mouse was born with the ability to control the space-time laws. No living creature could compare to the space-time spirit mouse in the use of the space-time laws. Those so-called sons of God could control the laws of time and space, but they were far inferior to the space-time spirit rat in the use of the laws. Therefore, it was hard to say who would win. Many people were curious. Would Pow Pow challenge the heavens next? However, everyone was disappointed. Bubbles did not challenge Tianming. As if she had had enough fun, she left the fighting ring in a flash. After the bubble disappeared, no one at the empty emperor realm went up to challenge him. Many people revealed looks of anticipation. Next, it was the main event, the battle between the 9 Ju. This time, the reason why so many people had come was to watch the battle between the 9 absolutes. More than a decade ago, the 9 uniques had fought each other and ranked each other. In the past 10 years, the 9 uniques had rarely fought. Everyone wanted to see if there had been any changes in the ranking of the 9 uniques in the past 10 years. Buzz. A figure rushed up the fighting ring. It was the Black Tortoise Forest. As expected, he is the first one to make a move. The Black Tortoise Forest is ranked last among the 9 absolutes. I wonder if he'll be able to charge up this time. It's hard to say. None of the 9 absolutes are weak. We'll only know after we fight. Everyone expressed their own opinions. Next, the Xuan Lu forest began to issue challenges. The heaven's favorite he challenged was ranked 8th among the 9 absolutes. The two of them exchanged many moves, but in the end, the black tortoise forest was defeated. He was no match for the other. The black tortoise forest wasn't willing to give up. After taking a pill to adjust his condition to the peak, he challenged the 7th-ranked genius, but he was still defeated. In the end, he was helpless and did not continue to challenge. His ranking remained at 9th place. Following that, it was all the duels between the 9 absolutes, and the intense battles continued. The 9 absolutes were all existences who had stepped into the true emperor realm a long time ago. Their powerful combat strength attracted everyone's attention. This was especially true for the heavens favorites below the Void Arch level. They could learn a lot by watching carefully. The exciting battles continued one after another. However, there were very few changes in the rankings. In the past, those who were ranked higher would indeed have stronger combat strength. It was still the same until now. There was only one change. The 5th-ranked heavens favorite defeated the 4th-ranked heavens favorite and replaced his position. As for the others, the rankings basically didn't change. Soon, the 3rd-ranked genius defeated his opponent. He turned his eyes to Yuanyi and Lin Xiaofeng. In the end, he challenged Yuanyi, who was ranked 2nd. "You're overestimating yourself." Yuanyi stepped forward and landed on the fighting ring. "I will defeat you within 10 moves." Yuanyi said indifferently, full of confidence. 10 moves? Yuanyi, you're overconfident. The 3rd-ranked genius. His expression was a little unsightly. "I'm already giving you too much credit by saying 10 moves. Do you understand? Let's go." Yuanyi said indifferently as he charged toward the 3rd-ranked youth. The person in 3rd place was a young man in blue. He had fought with a prince of a foreign race outside of Two World City and was defeated. Back then, he had the battle power of an 8th-level true emperor. Now, his combat strength had undoubtedly become stronger. Boom! The young man in blue exploded with all his strength and attacked with a terrifying sacred art. 10th-level true emperor battle power. Someone exclaimed. The young man in blue was much stronger than when he fought the non-human prince. His fighting power had increased by 2 stages, reaching the fighting power of a 10th stage true emperor. It was already extremely shocking to have such combat strength at this age. Unfortunately, he had run into Yuanyi. World power surged from Yuanyi's body, and nomological laws permeated the air. A heavenly halberd appeared in his hand. Boom! The heavenly halberd was incomparably huge. It became the size of a mountain and slashed towards the blue-robed young man. The heavenly halberd was indestructible and extremely powerful. As it slashed down, all of the attacks and defenses of the young man in blue were completely destroyed. Boom! The blue-shirted young man's body retreated frantically. He was directly blasted tens of thousands of meters away, and his face was abnormally pale. A deep wound appeared on his body. It was so deep that his bones could be seen, and blood was flowing out. One move and he was severely injured. "I've already shown you mercy. Otherwise, you'd be dead. I've said it before. I'll defeat you in 10 moves. Otherwise, I'll defeat you in 1 move." Yuanyi said, and the blue-robed youth's expression turned ugly. 1 move. Yuanyi had really defeated him in 1 move. The difference in combat strength between the two was too great. The scene was silent, and many people were tongue-tied. This result was far beyond their expectations. The young man in blue, ranked 3rd among the 9 absolutes, had been defeated in 1 move despite the huge difference in combat strength between him and Yuanyi. Everyone had thought that even if the young man in blue was no match for Yuanyi, they would still be able to fight. However, the result was completely one-sided. He's a 10th-level true emperor, but he couldn't even withstand a single blow and was easily crushed. What level is Yuanyi's combat strength? At least a rank 12 true emperor. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to defeat them so easily. In fact, he might even have more than that. No wonder the Lan family offered 100 stones of chaos as a reward. Could it be that Yuanyi can really defeat Lin Xiaofeng? Many people were discussing and guessing in shock. Chapter 23:17, Number 1 of the 9 Absolutes. Chapter 23:17, Number 1 of the 9 Absolutes. This time, many people had guessed that Yuanyi must have made great progress and had amazing combat power. Otherwise, the Lan family would not have offered 100 stones of chaos as a reward. However, they were still shocked to see the third-ranked genius collapse at Yuanyi's hands. Perhaps Yuanyi could really fight Lin Xiaofeng. Lan Cheng and some of the Lan family's older generation experts were all smiling. Lan Cheng, in particular, was stroking his beard with a face full of smiles and confidence. Yuanyi stood on the fighting ring. He was tall and full of confidence. He looked at Lin Xiaofeng and a firm and confident voice came out of his mouth. Lin Xiaofeng, come up and fight. Yuanyi's voice reverberated through the entire area. As you wish. As soon as Lin Xiaofeng's voice fell, his figure was already on the fighting ring. Lin Xiaofeng, more than 10 years ago, you were lucky enough to win against me. Today, one will step on you and let everyone know who the strongest heaven's favorite is, whether it is the heaven realm or the primordial realm. Yuanyi spoke with pride and confidence. 100 chaos gems, I'm definitely taking it. This was Lin Xiaofeng's answer, which was also full of confidence. Everyone's eyes fell on the 2 young figures on the fighting ring. These 2 people were the strongest heaven's favorites in the heaven realm and the primordial realm. Their future achievements were limitless and unpredictable. More than a decade ago, the 2 of them had a great battle. That battle left a deep impression on everyone and was still unforgettable. After more than a decade, the 2 of them were about to fight again. Who was stronger this time? Boom, boom. A powerful aura burst out of Yuanyi and Lin Xiaofeng. Their auras met in the void, making a violent roar. Explosive divine slash. A heavenly halberd appeared in Yuanyi's hand. The halberd grew rapidly and pierced through the clouds. Laws revolved around it, and its aura was astonishing. Then, the heavenly halberd slashed down at Lin Xiaofeng. Buzz. The sound of the blade resounded through the entire area. Lin Xiaofeng's sword was unsheathed, and a ray of sword light rushed up and slashed at the other party. Boom. The 2 terrifying attacks collided with each other, causing the air to shake and the fighting ring to rumble. Endless energy swept out in all directions to the west. Both Yuanyi and Lin Xiaofeng trembled and took a few steps back. However, the 2 of them stopped and stomped heavily on the fighting ring. Their figures were like 2 rainbows as they rushed toward each other. Boom. The 2 of them collided in the middle of the fighting ring, as if 2 stars had collided. The light of the blade and the halberd swept in all directions. Clang, clang. Following that, the 2 of them engaged in an intense battle. In the blink of an eye, the 2 of them had exchanged dozens of moves. What a strong combat power. This level of combat power is already at the 13th stage of True Emperor. That's right. You indeed have the fighting power of a level 13 True Emperor. You've actually reached such a level of fighting power at such a young age. It's really amazing. Many of the older generation sighed. In the past, among the younger generation, it would be considered good if one could become a true emperor at this age, let alone reach the battle power of a rank 13 True Emperor. This era was truly an era that made people go crazy. The 2 of them fought intensely on the fighting ring. As they fought, their auras became stronger and stronger, and the combat power they displayed became stronger and stronger. In the end, their battle strength surpassed the 13th stage of True Emperor and entered the 14th stage of True Emperor. This made many people gasp. Lin Xiaofeng and Yuanyi's combat strength had already reached rank 14 True Emperor. The battle became even more intense. The 2 of them exchanged more than 200 moves, but neither of them had a clear winner. Lin Xiaofeng, is this your maximum combat power? What a disappointment. Yuanyi's voice was heard. You're only SSO, it's impossible for you to defeat me. Lin Xiaofeng said. Oh really? Lin Xiaofeng, today is the day 1 rise. From now on, I'm the number 1 in the world. Yuanyi shouted and howled. Boom. The power of the heavenly halberd in his hand suddenly soared. The halberd struck out and collided with Lin Xiaofeng's saber. Lin Xiaofeng's saber trembled violently and finally exploded with a loud boom. Lin Xiaofeng retreated rapidly to the edge of the fighting ring before stopping. His chest heaved rapidly as he looked at Yuanyi in shock. A rank 15 true emperor. You've reached rank 15 true emperor? Lin Xiaofeng said in disbelief. The scene was also in an uproar. Shenhuang's combat power had reached the 15th level of true emperor. This was too terrifying. He was so young, but he had already reached this level. A rank 15 true emperor was almost at the peak of the true emperor realm. Once he reached the peak of the true emperor realm, he would be able to break through to the great emperor realm. Many of the older generation had to spend an unknown amount of time to reach this step. Yuanyi, on the other hand, had reached this stage in less than 100 years. It was too shocking. The third place, the youth from the Blue Mountain, was only a 10th level true emperor. The difference between them and a level 15 true emperor was too great, terrifying. This is too terrifying. Is this Shenhuang's true combat power? No wonder the Lan family is so confident. At this age, they have the battle power of a level 15 true emperor. Who can match them? The Lan family's offer of 100 stones of chaos may seem generous, but they're actually confident that Xuan will definitely get it and push him to the top. This is a brilliant move. Many people discussed and admired the Lan family's methods. Lan Cheng stroked his beard, his face filled with a proud smile. After this, the Lan family would have two geniuses among the 9 absolutes. One of them would be the number 1 genius in the world. The reputation of the Lan family would be even stronger and reach the peak. In his hands, the Lan family would also become stronger and stronger. Lan Cheng's heart was extremely comfortable. It's a pity that Lu Ming is dead. He didn't get the indestructible ancient scroll. What a pity! Lan Cheng sighed in his heart. Boom. At this moment, Yuanyi stepped forward, and his powerful aura pressed down on Lin Xiaofeng. Lin Xiaofeng, I've said it before. This time, I'll step on you and prove to everyone that I'm the number 1 in the world. Yuanyi shouted, and the halberd in his hand grew more and more powerful. Fight! Lin Xiaofeng shouted, unwilling to be defeated. He became one with his saber and charged at Yuanyi. However, the difference in combat strength was there, and it was difficult to cross. The difference between a level 14 true emperor and a level 15 true emperor was a real difference in combat power, not in cultivation. The two of them exchanged a few more moves, but Lin Xiaofeng was completely outmatched. He was blown away and spat out a large mouthful of blood. In the end, Shenhuang's attack landed on his body and he was sent flying off the fighting ring. Shenhuang had won. He had defeated Lin Xiaofeng, who was originally in first place. Chapter 23:18, Lu Ming's son. Chapter 23:18, Lu Ming's son Shenhuang stood on the battle stage with the heavenly halberd in his hand. He looked like an invincible god of war. On the contrary, Lin Xiaofeng's face was pale and full of dejection. He had lost. From now on, he was no longer the number 1 in the world. The number 1 chosen of the younger generation had changed hands. Ah, good, good, good. Lan Cheng laughed so hard that flowers bloomed. Everything was just as he had expected. Nothing had changed. Shenhuang had indeed defeated Lin Xiaofeng and won the title of the number 1 genius. His prestige would reach its peak, and the Lan family's prestige would rise as well. Is there anyone else who wants to fight? If not, this battle is over. Lan Cheng stood up with a face full of smiles. His voice resounded throughout the entire area. "Till do it." At this moment, a clear voice was heard. Outside the square, a beam of light flew over at high speed and landed on the fighting ring. This was a 15 or 16-year-old teenager with an elegant demeanor and extraordinary temperament. However, when they saw the young man's appearance, many people were stunned. Lu Ming, Long Chen, Huang Ling, Desolate Li Bubbles, and the others were all stunned. At the same time, Lan Yun, Heng Xing He Yuan Xian and the others, including Lan Cheng and the others, were also in a daze. Even Lu Ming himself almost bit his tongue. His eyes widened. It was because this teenager was too similar to Lu Ming. He looked 70 to 80% similar to Lu Ming, but he was more delicate. No, he's not Lu Ming. He's only 15 or 16 years old. It can't be Lu Ming. Someone immediately said. A person's appearance could be changed at will. However, their aura or life aura would not change. One could clearly tell a person's age from their life aura. This teenager was definitely not old. He should be around 15 or 16 years old. Of course, he could not be Lu Ming. Damn it. Could this young man be Lu Ming's illegitimate son? The unscrupulous monk muttered the name of Buddha and muttered softly. However, everyone present was an expert, so they naturally heard it clearly. Many people were moved. Perhaps this was really possible because the two of them were really too similar. This monk. Lu Ming touched his nose speechlessly and looked at the unscrupulous monk in disdain. He was really overthinking, Lu Ming thought to himself. However, at this moment, the young man turned to the unscrupulous monk and cupped his fists. Master, you know Lu Ming? Of course. Lu Ming is my brother. We've known each other for decades. Young man, what's your relationship with Lu Ming? The monk said, It's my father. The young man said. Lu Ming had been drinking a mouthful of wine, but he spat it out at that moment. He looked at the teenager, dumbfounded. The young man actually said that he was his son? Son? He had a son? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. At the same time, his mind was racing. Little Qing. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He thought of Xian Yanqing. He had only had sex with Xian Yanqing, and the timing matched the young man's age. Furthermore, Lu Ming looked at the teenager carefully and realized that he did have some resemblance to Xian Yanqing. Could it be? Is he really my son? Lu Ming had an inexplicable feeling in his heart. This feeling was very wonderful and indescribable. The others, such as Long Qin, Feng Ling, and Bubbles, were also dumbfounded. Brother Lu Ming, you have a son. Little Lu Ming? It really does look like it, chirping. Pow Pow cried out. Nest, I was just randomly guessing at the beginning. I didn't expect that I would be right. The unscrupulous monk's eyes almost popped out. Lu Ming, Huang Ling sighed and felt complicated. Lu Ming's son. The eyes of Lan Yun, Heng Xinghe, Yuan Exin, and the others glowed with a cold light. The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor, the Primordial Body Cultivators, and the Grand Supreme Elders all looked at Lu Ming with strange expressions. Lu Ming resisted the urge to rush out. It wasn't the time yet. Even if he was really his and Xian Yanqing's son, it would be the same when they acknowledged him later. If he went out now and showed his true form, he would probably lose the 100 Stones of Chaos. Lan Cheng and the others would definitely not let him challenge Yuanyi. Many thoughts flashed through everyone's mind. Senior, do you know where my father, Lu Ming, is now? The young man looked at the unscrupulous monk and continued to ask. He's cultivating in seclusion in a secret place and won't be able to come out for the time being. The unscrupulous monk made up stories. What closed-door training? I'm telling you, Lu Ming is already dead. A cold voice sounded. It was Lan Yun. The teenager was actually Lu Ming's son. He was unhappy just by looking at him. What did you just say? My mother said that my father is unparalleled in the world. No one in the younger generation can defeat him. How could he have died? The youth glared at Lan Yun. What dogs hit unparalleled? You're just deceiving yourself, Lan Yun said in disdain. In my opinion, you must have been defeated by my father before. You must have even been tortured miserably. Otherwise, you wouldn't belittle him on purpose. The young man's eyes flashed as he said coldly. Lan Yun's face was flushed red. The youth's words just happened to poke his sore spot. He had been abused by Lu Ming more than once. He was miserable every time and he had lost all his face. Little Lu Ming, you're right. He's been tortured by Lu Ming. He's practically begging for mercy on his knees and crying for his parents. He has betrayed his ancestors. The unscrupulous monk exaggerated, directly implicating the Lan family. This made Lan Cheng's face turn ugly, and he wanted to slap the unscrupulous monk to death. As for Lan Yun, his face was alternating between green and green. All right, young man. You want to challenge me? Who do you want to challenge? Lan Cheng quickly changed the topic. The young man's gaze scanned the crowd of young heaven's favorites and finally landed on the black tortoise forest. I want to challenge him. The young man pointed at the Xuanwu forest. What? Everyone was shocked. The young man actually wanted to challenge the Xuanwu forest. The young man was only 15 or 16 years old. How strong could he be at this age? It was already rare for him to become a great emperor, but he actually wanted to challenge the Xuanwu forest. No matter what, the Black Tortoise Forest was still one of the 9 absolutes. Its cultivation had long broken through to the true emperor realm, and now, it even had the combat power of a 6th-stage true emperor. How could he challenge Jianghu at such a young age? Black Tortoise Lin's expression darkened. He was actually challenged by a 15 or 16-year-old youth. It was truly embarrassing. You're so young, but you're so overconfident that you want to challenge Jianghu. You really don't know your own place. You're no different from your father. Lan Yun was very unhappy. He seized the opportunity to mock and ridicule. Oh, in that case, I'll challenge you first. Come down and fight me. The young man turned his gaze towards Lan Yun. You want to challenge me? Lan Yun's expression changed slightly. Nonsense. You come down and fight me. Don't tell me you don't even dare to accept my challenge. The young man said. Chapter 23:19, Shenhuang Lu's Combat Power. Chapter 23:19, Shenhuang Lu's Combat Power. The young man used a provocative method to challenge Lan Yun. However, even though he knew that this was a goading method, Lan Yun had no choice but to accept it. His opponent was only a 15 or 16-year-old youth. If he didn't even dare to accept the challenge, he wouldn't be able to survive in the future and would be laughed at by others. Since you want to fight, I'll fulfill your wish. Let's go. Lan Yun said coldly as he stepped out and landed on the fighting ring. Ming clenched his fist. He was worried for the teenager. He was ready to take out the fallen star Bao at any time. If the teenager was in danger, he would help. Bubbles and the others were also staring at the scene, especially Bubbles. He would not let anything happen to the young man. You're so arrogant at such a young age. I'd like to see what you're capable of. Lan Yun said coldly. The youth was only 15 or 16 years old, and he did not believe that the other party could match him. He was also a top-notch heaven's favorite. He had only achieved this after decades of bitter cultivation. He had never heard of a 15 or 16-year-old who could have such achievements. There had never been one in history. Make your move. Once you make your move, you'll naturally be able to see my ability. The youth said indifferently, his expression calm and indifferent, as if he didn't care about Lan Yun at all. The anger in Lan Yun's heart grew heavier and heavier. Since you're looking for death, I'll fulfill your wish. Kill. You're courting death. Lan Yun roared in anger, and light burst out from his body. Then, the endless light converged into a giant lion that pounced toward the youth. The lion was as large as a mountain, and its aura was astonishing. Lan Yun used his ultimate move the moment he made his move. If he was hit, the youth would die without a doubt. Since the teenager said that he was Ming's son, he would send him on his way. Lan Yun's eyes flashed with a malevolent expression. Seeing that the giant lion was about to pounce on the young man made his move. A layer of black light emanated from his body, and then a black sword light burst out and slashed at the giant lion. The giant lion formed by the blue cloud's sacred art seemed to be made of tofu. It couldn't withstand a single blow and was directly destroyed by the black light that the young man shot out. Furthermore, the black light did not stop and continued to charge towards Lan Yun. The black light's speed was astonishingly fast, and Lan Yun had no way to avoid it. How is that possible? Die! Lan Yun bellowed in rage and continuously punched out with his fists. One giant lion after another pounced out, but they were all swept away by the black light and fell apart. The black light struck Lan Yun, causing him to scream in pain. His body retreated frantically, but it was useless. His body was directly cut in two by the black light, and he fell to the ground, wailing in pain. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Many people gasped and looked at the young man in shock. With just one move, the young man had cut Lan Yun into two. This was too shocking. One should know that Lan Yun was a top-notch heaven's favorite who had mastered an ultimate law. His current cultivation had even reached the level of a 5-star Void Emperor. It was too shocking that he couldn't even withstand a single move from the young man. Some of the older generation saw even more. What kind of power is that? It's so terrifying. This young man's cultivation base is at the 3-star Void Emperor realm, but the power he cultivates is so powerful that it's terrifying. That's right. It's similar to the power of the ancient cultivation system, but it's more condensed, sharper, and more terrifying. Some of the older generation were discussing. It was already extremely shocking for a youth to have reached the 3-star Void Emperor realm at his age. However, the power that the young man cultivated was even stranger. The youth's attack did not have any nomological fluctuations. Clearly, the youth did not cultivate in the nomological system. However, it was not because of the ancient cultivation system, as the youth's power was even more terrifying than the power cultivated by the ancient cultivation system. Some of the older generation discussed in surprise. Nest, that's amazing. You're too awesome. As expected of Lu Ming's son, he defeated Lan Yun in one move. He's really amazing. The unscrupulous monk, Long Chen, and the others were also discussing in shock. This power, only Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He had seen this power once before. Back then, after he had sex with Xian Yanqing, the next day, Xian Yanqing seemed to have changed into a different person and attacked him. This was the power that Xian Yanqing was using. It was indestructible, and its attack power was extremely powerful. It could even penetrate laws. He's really my son. At this moment, Lu Ming concluded. He felt inexplicably excited. The sudden appearance of a son made it difficult for anyone to remain calm. Lu Ming could not wait to rush out and acknowledge the young man so that he could find out Xian Yanqing's whereabouts. Since the young man was here, Xian Yanqing must be in the Tai Ching heavenly region. He had to get to the bottom of this matter. However, there was no rush. It would not be too late to talk about it after the matter with the Lan family was resolved. At this moment, there were already experts from the Lan family who had saved Lan Yun. With Lan Yun's cultivation, being cut in two was a small matter and could be easily healed. The biggest blow to him was that he was defeated by the youth in one move. Impossible, impossible. Lan Yun kept roaring in his heart, finding it hard to accept. He had actually been defeated by a 15 or 16-year-old youth in one move. This was a great humiliation. Can't even withstand a single blow. The young man shook his head and turned to look at the black tortoise forest. Now we can fight, the young man said. Xuan Wulin's eyes narrowed slightly. He took a step forward and stepped onto the fighting ring. Buzz. Stars spread out from Xuan Wulin's body. There were a total of 360 stars that covered his entire body. The black tortoise forest didn't dare to be careless when facing the young man. Buzz. A pitch-black sword appeared in the young man's hand. Remember, the one who defeated you is Lu Shenhuang. The young man's voice rang out, and the sword light whizzed out, piercing through the void and slashing toward the black tortoise forest at an extremely fast speed. Divine Desolate Lu. Lu Ming's heart trembled slightly. Was this the name Xian Yanqing had given the young man? The Divine Wilderness referred to the Divine Wilderness continent. It also meant that it was the place where Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing met and fell in love. They had experienced unforgettable years in the Divine Wilderness continent. Heavenly Cycle Stellar Fist. Xuan Wulin shouted and waved his hands. One star after another flew towards Lu Shenhuang. Bush, bush, bush. Lu Shenhuang's sword trembled and sword chi howled. Streaks of black sword radiance slashed towards the stars. Bang, bang. The stars exploded like fireworks. Xuan Wulin's expression changed, and he burst forth with all his might. More stars were blasted toward Xuan Wulin. Every star contained the power of his laws. However, Lu Shenhuang's sword radiance was shockingly powerful and could easily tear apart his laws. The two of them quickly attacked. The sky was filled with sword light and starlight. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of moves. What a terrifying strength. He's a genius, a genius. Some of the older generation sighed. Of course, it was because of Lu Shenhuang's combat strength. His cultivation base was only at the 3-star illusionary divine stage, but he was able to compete with the Black Tortoise Forest. This kind of combat strength was not only shocking, but also unimaginable. Everyone present was stunned and shocked beyond words. Chapter 23:20, Lu Ming Challenges. Chapter 23:20, Lu Ming Challenges. Damn it, this is too abnormal. This is too heaven-defying. The unscrupulous monk was already spouting nonsense. He is indeed Lu Ming's son. He is so young and more powerful than Lu Ming. Long Chen sighed. If that was the case, Lu Shenhuang's ability to fight above his level was even stronger than Lu Ming's in the past. When Lu Ming broke through to the martial emperor realm back then, he became a 4-star illusionary emperor in one fell swoop. Then, he fought against the Black Tortoise Forest and finally defeated the Black Tortoise Forest by merging 9 types of laws. However, the Xuan Forest at that time was not as strong as it was now. At that time, the Xuan Forest's battle strength was only at the 3rd stage True Emperor realm. Clearly, Lu Shenhuang's combat power was stronger than Lu Ming's back then. Of course, Lu Ming's mastery of various laws had deepened. He had also cultivated an immemorial body cultivator and his physical strength had increased tremendously. His ability to fight above his level was much stronger than it had been in the past. All right. Lu Ming was overjoyed to see how powerful Lu Shenhuang was. Damn it, how did this happen? Some were happy, some were worried. Heng Xinghe, Yuan Exen, Lan Cheng, and the others were all roaring in their hearts. They couldn't believe it. Lu Ming was already abnormal enough, but his son was even more abnormal. Why did this happen? They roared in their hearts and went crazy with jealousy. Bang, bang, bang. Lu Shenhuang and Xuan Wulin were engaged in an intense battle, and the rumbles continued. However, the more he fought, the stronger Shenhuang Lu's combat strength became. His entire body emitted a layer of black light and became one with his combat sword. The sword light was extremely sharp as it continuously destroyed the stars from the Xuan Forest. In the end, the speed at which the sword light destroyed the stars was even faster. Before the Xuan Forest could condense the stars, Lu Shenhuang had already rushed in front of the Xuan Forest and slashed out with his sword. With a shrill cry, Black Tortoise Lin coughed up blood and retreated out of the fighting ring. A deep wound was left on his body, and blood was flowing. Xuan Forest, defeated. He was defeated by Lu Shenhuang in a head-on battle. From then on, the position of the 9 would be replaced by Lu Shenhuang. Xuan Wulin's expression was extremely ugly. This was a huge blow to him. Lan Cheng's face was also very ugly. He said coldly, "Shenhuang Lu, do you still want to continue the challenge? I won't fight." Lu Shenhuang shook his head and rushed down the stage. He landed on a seat and closed his eyes to regulate his breathing. Is there anyone else who wants to challenge me? If not, then the first place today will go to Yuanyi. Lan Cheng stood up and announced, his voice reverberating throughout the entire area. "I'll do it." Lan Cheng's voice had just fallen when he was interrupted. At this moment, Lu Ming stood up, took a step forward, and landed on the fighting ring. Many people's gazes fell on Lu Ming, but they were slightly stunned when they saw his appearance. They had not seen Lu Ming's appearance before. Another prodigy that had not appeared before? Some of the heavenly emperors were surprised. With their cultivation base at the heavenly emperor realm, they could sense that Lu Ming had disguised himself. However, they could not see through Lu Ming's original appearance. What a brilliant disguising technique. A heavenly emperor spoke in a low voice. "You want a challenge? Who do you want to challenge?" Lan Cheng asked. "Of course, I'm going to challenge the first place. Yuanyi, come down and fight." Lu Ming looked at Yuanyi. What? Many people were shocked. Someone actually wanted to challenge Yuanyi. Yuanyi's battle strength was obvious to all. He had reached rank 15 True Emperor. There was no doubt that no one in the younger generation could match him. But now, someone wanted to challenge Yuanyi. He must be crazy. Many people had thought that Lu Ming would be like Lu Shenhuang, challenging a few experts to train himself or to gain fame. However, Lu Ming wanted to challenge Yuanyi, which was beyond everyone's expectations. This kid is definitely trying to attract attention by playing to the gallery. He wants to challenge Yuanyi to increase his reputation. Even if he loses, he'll still gain fame. That's right, that's definitely the case. Some people were discussing. Yuanyi's eyes narrowed as he rushed up the fighting ring. Brat, swords and sabers have no eyes. You challenged me. If I fail and cripple or kill you, then you'll only have yourself to blame. Yuanyi said coldly. He was not in a good mood. He had already defeated Lin Xiaofeng and taken first place. Everything had been perfect. But now, someone had actually challenged him. This caused all of this to seem flawed and imperfect. Therefore, he had the intention to kill. Later on, he would kill Lu Ming in one move as a warning to everyone and let them know the consequences of challenging him. Little guy, what's your name? Lan Qing asked. Nameless fellow, let's not mention him. Lu Ming smiled faintly. A nameless person dares to challenge Brother Shenhuang. He really doesn't know his own place. In my opinion, this person is just trying to please the crowd. Brother Shenhuang, you don't need to accept the challenge. Just ask someone to throw him out. A voice rang out. It was the Black Tortoise Forest. Xuanwu Forest had just been defeated by Lu Shenhuang in public and was probably going to be removed from the list of the 9 absolutes. He was in a bad mood and would bite whoever he saw. At this moment, Lu Ming rushed out. He was extremely unhappy with Lu Ming and directly mocked him. You're not even as good as a 15 or 16-year-old boy, and you still have the face to make a fuss here. If I were you, I'd just destroy my own cultivation. Lu Ming looked at the Black Tortoise Forest and mocked. Brat, Brother Shenhuang doesn't need to do anything today. Let me teach you a lesson. Shenhuang was furious. He rushed up to the stage and cupped his fists at Shenhuang. Brother Shenhuang, you don't have to deal with a nameless person personally. I'll teach him a lesson on your behalf. All right. Yuanyi nodded and retreated to the edge of the fighting ring. In his opinion, it would be best if the Black Tortoise Forest team could take action, so that he would not have to do anything. You're going to make a move? Lu Ming looked at the Black Tortoise Forest and said, That's right. I'd like to see what kind of ability you have to dare challenge Brother Shenhuang. Black Tortoise Forest said coldly. You can't. You're too weak. I don't want to torture you. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming shook his head with a look of disdain. Xuanwu Lin's lungs were about to explode from anger. Who was he? He was one of the 9 absolutes. But today, he was first defeated by Lu Shenhuang. Now, even a nameless person looked down on him. He was furious and filled with killing intent. Brat who doesn't know how to talk big. Show me your ability. The Black Tortoise Forest roared. Hundreds of stars appeared all over his body. The hundreds of stars gathered together and blasted towards Lu Ming. The power was extraordinary. As soon as he made his move, the Black Tortoise Forest used his killer move to blast Lu Ming into ashes. Boom. The huge star was like a falling meteorite, dragging a long tail with terrifying power. But at this moment, Lu Ming moved. There were no energy fluctuations on his body, nor were there any fluctuations of laws. It was just a simple punch. This punch relied on pure physical strength. Chapter 23-21. Chapter 23-21, Battling Yuanyi. Chapter 23-21. Chapter 2321, Battling Yuanyi. Boom. Lu Ming's fist landed on the huge star. The huge star was like a bubble, unable to withstand a single blow. It exploded with a single punch. After shattering the star, Lu Ming's fist momentum did not stop and continued to blast toward the black martial arts world. Wherever the fist force passed, the space would explode and shatter, forming a terrifying spatial storm that swept toward the Black Tortoise Forest. The Black Tortoise Forest was completely enveloped by Lu Ming's fist aura. It was as if the space in the surroundings had frozen, making it difficult for him to move. How is that possible? The Black Tortoise Forest had this thought. Then, Lu Ming's fist landed heavily on his face. Bang! Xuanwu Lin was sent flying out of the battle stage and landed heavily on the ground. He sprawled on the ground and spat out a large mouthful of blood. His face was completely deformed and swollen to the point where he could not be recognized. Everyone was stunned and they looked at Lu Ming in a daze. One punch. With just one punch, he had defeated the Xuanwu forest team. They were not on the same level at all. They were completely crushed. One must know that the Black Tortoise Forest's combat strength was also at the 6th stage True Emperor realm. However, it was still suppressed. Who was this person? They had never seen him before. How could he have such strong combat strength? The power of the physical body. He's an immemorial body cultivator. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. Everyone's heart skipped a beat as they reacted. Just now, there were no fluctuations of laws on Lu Ming's body. He had relied purely on his physical strength. Only immemorial body cultivators could cultivate their physical strength to such a level. Baoda's eyes lit up. He was also an archaic body cultivator, so he was naturally curious and excited to suddenly see another archaic body cultivator with such shocking battle prowess. I said, "You're too weak. I don't want to torture you, but you're looking for it." Lu Ming spoke indifferently and cast a disdainful glance at the Black Tortoise Forest. The Black Tortoise Forest spat out a few more mouthfuls of blood from his anger. Today, he was really too miserable. He had been defeated by two people in succession. One was a 15 or 16-year-old youth, and the other had dealt with him easily with a single punch. Today, he was destined to become a laughingstock and be ridiculed by others. Is there anyone else who would like to stand up for Yuanyi? Lu Ming's gaze swept across the young talents present. No one spoke. Lu Ming was able to defeat Shenhuang Lu with a single punch. His combat strength was unfathomable. If others were not confident, who would stand up for Yuanyi? Since you don't have one, Yuanyi, let's fight. Lu Ming looked at Yuanyi. You have some ability, but if you want to fight with me, you're still far from it. Yuanyi stepped forward and sneered. In his opinion, it was not a big deal to defeat the Black Tortoise Forest with a single punch. The Black Tortoise Forest's cultivators only had the combat strength of a Stage 6 True Emperor. As long as they had the combat strength of a Stage 8 True Emperor or above, they would be able to defeat him in one move. He, on the other hand, had the combat power of a rank 15 True Emperor, which was much higher than that of the Xuanwu Forest. Therefore, even though Lu Ming had defeated the Black Tortoise Forest in one move, he did not take Lu Ming seriously. "You talk too much, make your move," Lu Ming said. "I've said it before. Swords and sabers have no eyes. If you accidentally go too far, you'll only have yourself to blame." Yuanyi said coldly, a halberd appearing in his hand. Thump. Yuanyi took a step forward and swung his halberd at Lu Ming. In the process of slashing down, the heavenly halberd enlarged rapidly. It expanded to 1,000 meters in length and slashed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming took a step forward and the fighting ring rumbled. He dashed forward and threw a punch. Lu Ming circulated his physical strength to the maximum for this punch. Boom. Lu Ming's fist and the heavenly halberd collided heavily. With a terrifying boom, Lu Ming's body was sent flying backward. He only stopped after he had retreated a few hundred meters. This person actually blocked Yuanyi's move. Many people were shocked. Although Lu Ming was at a disadvantage and was pushed back, everyone was still shocked. Who is this person? He has at least the battle strength of a level 13 True Emperor. There is actually such a heaven's favorite among the younger generation in the heaven realm? A rank 13 True Emperor was also impressive. Among the 9 absolutes, only Lin Xiaofeng and Yuanyi had reached a level 13 True Emperor. The one ranked third only had a level 10 True Emperor's combat strength. This was almost the peak combat power of the heaven realm's younger generation. An immemorial body cultivator actually had such a heaven's favorite. Yuanyi's eyes narrowed, and a sharp glint flashed in them. He was also very surprised that he did not defeat Lu Ming in one move. "Let's see how many moves you can take." "Kill, die." Yuanyi bellowed. Wielding his halberd, he charged at Lu Ming. "My physical body alone is still a little lacking," Lu Ming muttered. Now that he had cultivated the 7 gods' mysterious technique to the middle stage of the 4th level, his physical strength alone was equivalent to a level 13 True Emperor. He was still no match for Yuanyi. Boom. Lu Ming threw another punch. However, this time, Lu Ming used the indestructible golden body from the indestructible ancient scroll. The inextinguishable golden body could turn one's body into a divine weapon. Not only did it possess a terrifying defensive power, but it also possessed a powerful offensive power. The combination of the imperishable golden body and the powerful physical body of the immemorial body cultivator complemented each other, and the power that erupted was extremely shocking. Law, it's the power of law. He cultivates the law system. That's not right. His physical body is too shocking. He's clearly an immemorial body cultivator. He's cultivating both his physical body and nomological laws. Someone exclaimed in disbelief. Cultivating one of them would take a lifetime of effort for many people. However, Lu Ming had cultivated two and seemed to have achieved amazing results in both. Boom. Lu Ming and Yuanyi clashed for the second time. There was another violent boom. This time, Lu Ming and Yuanyi's bodies trembled violently and they retreated. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Gasps could be heard and many people could not help but widen their eyes. They were evenly matched. Lu Ming and Yuanyi were actually evenly matched in this move. There was actually someone in the world who could fight against Yuanyi. They could feel that Yuanyi had just unleashed the combat power of a rank 15 true emperor. Even Lin Xiaofeng would find it hard to fight against such a combat power. However, Lu Ming was able to contend with him and they were even. This meant that Lu Ming's combat strength was also at the 15th level of true emperor. To think that there was actually a heaven's favorite in this world who had reached such a realm. It was simply shocking. Damn it. Lan Cheng roared in his heart and became a little worried. He was worried that if Yuanyi lost, his plan would be ruined. And wouldn't he have to give away the 100 chaos gems? I must win. Lan Cheng gritted his teeth and muttered. Yuanyi's eyes were filled with shock. He didn't expect that there would be another young man in the world who could reach this level. I'm invincible. This person must die. Yuanyi roared in his heart, and his eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. There was actually a heaven's favorite who could fight with him in this world. He definitely couldn't leave him behind. He wouldn't allow such a person to appear. Kill! Yuanyi charged at Lu Ming with his heavenly halberd. Chapter 23-22, Chapter 23-21, First. Chapter 23-22, Chapter 2321. First, Yuanyi strode across the air, his halberd seemingly capable of splitting the sky as it slashed towards Lu Ming. Wherever it passed, the air was split in half, revealing a terrifying black crack. This kind of attack power was invincible among the younger generation. No one could stop it. Even Lin Xiaofeng would be defeated by this move. However, Lu Ming's expression was calm. To be honest, he did not take such an attack to heart at all. Boom. The muscles and bones in Lu Ming's body trembled violently at a rate of hundreds of millions of times per second. The vibration of his muscles caused intense friction with the air and space. Lu Ming's body dashed out and he threw a punch. The fist once again collided with the halberd. With a violent boom, the halberd exploded. Lu Ming's body swayed slightly, but he threw another punch. The punch pierced through space, bringing with it a spatial storm that swept toward Shenhuang. Lu Ming did not use the power of the world or other divine powers. He only relied on the strength of his physical body and the imperishable golden body. Yuanyi's expression changed drastically. His body glowed, and a heavenly halberd materialized in his other hand. He swung the halberd and blocked Lu Ming's fist force, but he was forced to retreat. Yuanyi was at a disadvantage, and his attacks were suppressed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's muscles and bones trembled. He did not even need to take a step as he charged toward Yuanyi. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Ming kept swinging his fists. The terrifying power smashed the space into pieces. Moreover, Lu Ming did not care about defense at all. He only focused on attacking. Yuanyi roared. He wielded a heavenly halberd in each hand and slashed wildly, engaging in an intense battle with Lu Ming. After a few moves, Yuanyi's halberd struck Lu Ming's shoulder. However, Lu Ming's muscles and bones trembled rapidly, and most of the force was reflected back. At the same time, the imperishable golden bodice defense also blocked most of the force. The halberd attack could only leave a faint white mark on Lu Ming's skin. It could not even break through Lu Ming's defense. At the same time, Lu Ming's fist landed on Yuanyi. Yuanyi's body trembled violently, and the sound of bones breaking came from his body. He retreated rapidly and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Many people gasped in shock. Lu Ming's defense was too shocking. Yuanyi was no match for him. The two of them had similar combat strength. Each of them had managed to land a blow on the other, but Lu Ming was completely fine. On the other hand, Yuanyi was severely injured. Number 1 in the world? With this kind of battle power? Lu Ming said coldly. In the next moment he charged toward Yuanyi and launched a new round of fierce attacks. Damn it! Outside the fighting ring, Lan Cheng was roaring in his heart. His eyes were filled with anger and coldness. Yuanyi could not be defeated. If he was defeated, his plan would be ruined. Moreover, he would have to give 100 yuan to Lu Ming. He would not allow that. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. He took a step forward and a surge of energy rushed toward Lu Ming along the ground. On the side, the heavenly emperors of the other major forces sensed this, and their gazes flickered slightly, but no one said anything. Just as the force was about to hit Lu Ming, Heavenly Emperor Hengyu snorted coldly and took a step forward. A force gushed out from the ground and intercepted Lan Cheng's force. Boom! The two forces collided, and the ground suddenly exploded, creating a huge pit. The force was wanton. What's going on? Many people were shocked. Lan Cheng, as the Celestial the Arch, you actually secretly attacked a junior. You're really shameless. Or are you unwilling to give up the 100 stones of chaos because Yuanyi is about to lose? Since you can't bear to, don't say it in advance. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said coldly. Many people turned to look at Land City. When they saw the gloomy expression on Land City's face, they came to a sudden realization. It seemed that Lan Cheng had secretly made a move when he saw that Yuanyi was about to be defeated, but he had been intercepted by Heavenly Emperor Hengyu. Detestable! Lan Cheng roared in his heart, but he couldn't do anything. He could only keep his face dark and not say anything. At this moment, the battle on the fighting ring was completely one-sided. Lu Ming launched a storm of attacks. He completely ignored defense and only attacked. Yuanyi was no match for him. Even if he used all his strength to block, he wouldn't be able to take more than a few moves. Bang! Lu Ming's punch landed on Yuanyi's chest, almost piercing it. Yuanyi spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated. Lu Ming chased after him and threw another punch. Yuanyi's body was sent flying like a cannonball. Half of his body had exploded, and he flew out of the fighting ring towards the crowd. Lan Cheng's face was gloomy. With a wave of his hand, a force wrapped around Lan Cheng and caught him. At the same time, it helped Lan Cheng to heal his injuries. He was defeated. Yuanyi had been defeated. Lu Ming had defeated Yuanyi with an absolute advantage. Everyone's heart was filled with complicated feelings. They knew that an even more terrifying heaven's favorite had been born. The poor Yuanyi had just defeated Lin Xiaofeng and ascended to the throne of the first of the 9 absolutes. He had not even warmed up his seat before he was kicked off the throne. Is there anyone else who wants to challenge me? Lu Ming did not look at Yuanyi again. He turned to look in another direction. No one responded. Lu Ming's combat strength was so terrifying that even Yuanyi could not withstand a single blow. Who else could be his match? Since no one is willing to accept the challenge, then it'll be the first place this time. Lu Ming turned to look at Lan Cheng and said, Master Lan, since I've won first place, the 100 chaos gems are mine, right? Lan Cheng's heart ached. 100 chaos gems was not a small amount. Even for the large Lan family, it was not easy to take out 100 chaos gems. Head thought that Yuanyi would definitely win first place. Giving the 100 chaos gems to his son-in-law in Land City would help him improve his cultivation. However, he couldn't bear to give away 100 chaos gems to someone else. Kid, who are you? I know you used a disguising technique to hide your face. You didn't even tell me your name and you still want to get 100 chaos gems. What a joke. Lan Qing sneered. He started to find excuses. Lan Qing, you're going back on your word. That's not what you said before. You released the news that whoever ranked first among the younger generation would receive 100 chaos gems. Now you're finding so many excuses. I know that you must have thought that Yuanyi would definitely get first place, so you took out the 100 stones of chaos for him. However, you used the 100 stones of chaos as a gimmick to attract others and set off Yuanyi. You're toying with everyone in the world like monkeys. Lu Ming sneered. Nonsense. How dare you slander me? How dare you? Show your true form. I want to confirm your identity. Otherwise, don't even think about getting the 100 stones of chaos. Lan Qing said. All right, since you want to see, then go ahead. Lu Ming said. With that, his appearance changed rapidly and he returned to his original appearance. His aura also recovered. Lu Ming. After seeing Lu Ming's original appearance, Lan Qing roared. Chapter 23-23. Chapter 23-23. Father and Son Reuniting. Chapter 23-23. Chapter 2323. Father and Son Reuniting in Land City. After seeing Lu Ming's appearance, he could not help but widen his eyes and shout. The others were also dumbfounded. How is that possible? Lu Ming, isn't he dead? Lan Yun, Heng Xinghe, Yuan Xen, and the others also roared in disbelief. On the other hand, Huang Ling, Long Qin, Bubbles, and the others were overjoyed. One was wondering who had such powerful combat strength. It's Lu Ming. It's too shocking. How many years has it been since Lu Ming became a martial emperor? He's actually able to suppress Yuanyi and is invincible in his generation. It's simply unbelievable. He only used his physical strength just now. He didn't use the power of laws. Indeed, hiss. The surroundings were in a clamor, and the sounds of discussion converged. The main thing was that Lu Ming's reputation was too great. Back then, he had become a great emperor with many laws. This was unprecedented. As soon as he became a great emperor, he defeated one of the 9 absolutes, the Black Tortoise Forest, and shook the entire heaven realm. A few years later, he defeated and captured a prince of the alien race outside Two World City. That battle pushed Lu Ming's reputation to the peak. However, it was nothing compared to today's battle. In today's battle, Lu Ming had defeated Yuanyi and ascended to the throne of number 1 among the younger generation of the Tianyuan world and the Yuan world. It seemed that every time Lu Ming appeared, his combat strength would increase by leaps and bounds at a shocking speed. Father! At this moment, Lu Shenhuang stood up and stared at Lu Ming without blinking. His face was filled with surprise, anticipation, curiosity, and other emotions. Lu Ming also heard Lu Shenhuang's voice. He turned to look at Lu Shenhuang and their eyes met. Lu Ming nodded slightly and smiled. Lu Shenhuang took in a deep breath and suppressed his excitement. He stepped forward onto the fighting ring and faced Lu Ming. His mother's comments about his father rang in his mind. Unparalleled and unparalleled in the world. Seeing it today, it was indeed so. Father, Lu Shenhuang spoke again. Your mother is Xian Yanqing? Lu Ming could not help but ask. Even though he already knew that Lu Shenhuang's mother was definitely Xian Yanqing, he still could not help but ask to confirm. Yes, I am. Lu Shenhuang nodded his head firmly. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. Looking at Lu Shenhuang, who looked 70 to 80% similar to him, he had an inexplicable feeling in his heart. She didn't expect to have a son after a short separation with Xian Yanqing. Divine wilderness, retreat to the side. After I settle the matter here, I will go with you to find your mother, Lu Ming said. Okay. Lu Shenhuang nodded and retreated to his seat. Lu Ming turned around and faced Lan Qing. At this moment, Lan Qing's face revealed a ferocious expression, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Lu Ming, you still dare to appear here? Good, very good. Lan Qing said coldly. Why can't I be here? Lu Ming asked with a cold smile. A few years ago, on the battlefield outside the Two World City, You killed the beings of the heaven realm and seized their treasures and resources. This is a serious crime, and you have to pay with your life. Lan Cheng coldly said. Ha, what a good thief crying thief caught thief. In that case, I'll explain everything today. Lu Ming laughed heartily. Then, he recounted how the Lan family and the Yen family had besieged him and how Bai Tai and the rest had arrived, but the Lan family and the Yen family had killed them to keep their mouths shut. There's actually such a thing. Many people's gazes flickered, and they revealed thoughtful expressions. Back then, the Lan family had announced to the public that Lu Ming had killed people and robbed them of their treasures. The Lan family and the Yen family had come across them and attacked Lu Ming according to the rules of Two World City. Could it be that there was such a secret? Simply a bunch of nonsense. Lan Cheng berated. Nonsense? I suspect that the people of the Lan family were ordered by you, Lan Cheng, to seize my indestructible ancient scroll. In the end, when they were discovered, you killed them and framed me. Such an act is not worthy of being called a big family in the heaven realm. In my opinion, the one who should be punished is you, the Lan family. Lu Ming shouted. Impudent! How dare you slander me? Today, no matter how glib your tongue is, you'll be punished. Men, take Lu Ming down, cripple his cultivation, and put him in jail. Lan Cheng shouted. Bang! Bang! Immediately, two experts from the Lan family stepped out. They exuded a powerful aura and rushed towards Lu Ming. These were two great emperors, and they were extremely powerful. Let's see who dares to? Heavenly Emperor Hengyu shouted coldly as a terrifying aura erupted from his body. With a wave of his hand, a huge hand formed and pressed down on the two Lan clan heavenly emperors. Hengyu, I'm afraid that it's not up to you to protect Lu Ming. Lan Cheng roared and rushed out. His heavenly emperor realm cultivation base also burst out. He pressed his big hand and a heavenly lion roared and pounced toward the Hengyu heavenly emperor's big hand. Boom! A deafening explosion was heard, and Lan Cheng's expression changed drastically. His body was sent flying, and he looked at the eternal universe heavenly emperor in shock. He was no match for heavenly emperor Hengyu, and he was forced to retreat with a single strike. At the same time, the two great emperors of the Lan clan were also sent flying by the residual force of the Hengyu heavenly emperor's attack. Hengyu, do you think you can break the rules of the heaven realm by yourself? Did he want to fight against everyone? Lu Ming has committed a crime and must be punished. Lan Cheng roared. The ones who are guilty are the Lan family. The ones who are going against the heaven realm are the Lan family. Lu Ming shouted. What a load of nonsense. Lan Cheng said. Hee, if what I said is a bunch of nonsense, then what you said, isn't it all bullshit? Lu Ming berated coldly. How audacious! Lan Cheng bellowed. Lu Ming was a junior, yet he dared to go against him and talk back to him at every turn. How presumptuous! He was so furious that he wished he could kill Lu Ming with a slap. Fellow Taoists, give me a hand. Lan Cheng's gaze turned to the Yen family's heavenly emperor, the Luo family's heavenly emperor, and the vast expanse shrine master. These forces were all on good terms with the Lan family, and even had marriage relations with the Lan family. Lu Ming killed his fellow Taoists in the heaven realm and seized their treasures. In my opinion, he could rise so quickly because of this method. He is guilty of a great crime and should be punished. The Yen clan's heavenly emperor stepped out and stood side by side with Lan Cheng. Their powerful auras burst forth as they fought against the eternal universe heavenly emperor together. That's right. We must capture Lu Ming today, cripple his cultivation, and interrogate him strictly. The heavenly emperor of the Luo clan also stepped out. Then two more people stepped out. They were both at the heavenly emperor realm. One of them was the lord of the vast expanse palace and the other was the master of the Xing River. They were both terrifying heavenly emperor powerhouses. The 5 heavenly emperor powerhouses stood together, and their aura was shocking. Hengyu, I've said it before. You can't stop us alone today. We must take Lu Ming down. Lan Cheng sneered and glared at Lu Ming. He stretched out his hand and the terrifying power condensed into a huge hand that grabbed at Lu Ming. You dare! Heavenly Emperor Heng Yu roared. Chapter 23-24. Chapter 23-24, Everyone Shocked. Chapter 23-24. Chapter 2324. Everyone shocked. Heavenly Emperor Heng Yu let out a long howl as heavenly Tao might burst forth, causing the entire world to tremble. It was terrifying to the extreme. Boom! The Heng Yu Heavenly Emperor made his move. A combat sword appeared in his hand, and he slashed at Lan Cheng. Heng Yu, I'll fight you. The master of the Eternal Star River was a gray-robed elder. He made his move and struck out a palm toward the Heng Yu Heavenly Emperor. The two of them exchanged a blow and were evenly matched. The master of the Eternal Star River was also an extremely terrifying existence. He was an expert even among the Heavenly Emperors and was not weaker than the Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor. At this moment, the huge hand from Land City was already approaching Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming stood calmly on the fighting ring. His expression did not change, as if he had not seen Lan Cheng's attack. At this moment, an old man suddenly appeared beside Lu Ming. The old man's face was calm as he threw out a punch. This punch did not have the slightest surge of energy, nor did it contain any power of laws. It was just pure strength. However, when this punch was thrown out, Lan Cheng's big hand directly exploded. The terrifying fist force continued to blast toward Lan Cheng. Lan Cheng's expression changed, and he hurriedly used a divine art. A heavenly lion pounced out. There was a loud boom and Lan Cheng's body trembled. He could not help but retreat. He looked at the old man beside Lu Ming in shock. Immemorial body cultivator, you're an immemorial body cultivator, a body cultivator of the Heavenly Emperor realm. Or you? Lan Cheng roared in shock. He did not expect that Lu Ming would have a Heavenly Emperor with him. Moreover, it was a body cultivator that he had never seen before. A Heavenly Emperor realm body cultivator. In the crowd, Baoda eyes emitted an excited light. At the scene, the others were also shocked. There was a Heavenly Emperor level body cultivator by Lu Ming's side, helping him at the critical moment. Ancient body cultivators were almost lost to the present day. There were very few people who cultivated it, and even fewer who could successfully cultivate it. Today, in the Heaven realm, there was only one known physical cultivator who could reach the Heavenly Emperor realm, but it was definitely not the person in front of him. Could it be that this body cultivator hasn't come out and has been living in seclusion? Someone guessed. Fellow Taoist, are you going to make an enemy out of me and the Lan family just because of a junior? Lan Cheng stared at the old man and spoke coldly. His words revealed a hint of threat. Whoever dares to touch him, I'll kill him with one punch. The old man pointed at Lu Ming and said indifferently. It was very simple and clear, but it made people stunned. He would kill anyone who dared to touch Lu Ming with one punch. This caused many people to gasp. This was something that a Heavenly Emperor had said, so no one would doubt it. Lan Cheng's face also darkened. He said, I'm afraid that you alone won't be enough. The Yen, Luo, and Vast Expanse Palace lords also unleashed their terrifying auras toward the elder. However, in the next moment, 3 more elders appeared beside Lu Ming. They were dressed in the same way as the previous elder. Their faces were calm, but a terrifying aura burst out, crushing the auras of the Yen families, Celestial the Arch and the others. In the city of Lan, the Celestial the Arch of the Yen family and the others narrowed their eyes in disbelief. Heavenly Emperor, all of them were Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses, and they were all body cultivators. How was this possible? At the scene, the others were also shocked and dumbfounded. Lu Ming had so many Heavenly Emperor powerhouses by his side. This force was too terrifying. The Lan family could not do anything to Lu Ming. Damn it, how is this possible? Where did these experts come from? Lan Cheng roared in his heart. As a Heavenly Emperor, he had seen or heard of all the Heavenly Emperors in the Taiching Heavenly region. However, he had never heard of these elders. So many Heavenly Emperor realm body cultivators, where did they come from? Could it be one of those old monsters hiding in the dark? Lan Cheng couldn't help but think. There were naturally some hidden old monsters in the Taiching Heavenly region or the primordial realm. Their cultivation strength was terrifyingly strong, and they usually cultivated in seclusion. Only when the alien races launched a truly terrifying war would these strong cultivators come out. At this moment, many thoughts flashed through Lan Cheng's mind. Blue City, hand over all the people who tried to kill me on the battlefield, as well as the people who killed Senior Bai Tai and the others. Also, hand over all the people from the Yen clan. I want to see them all. Lu Ming took a step forward and glared at Lan Cheng. His voice spread throughout the entire area. Lu Ming would not let off any of those who had attacked him. All of them had to die. Preposterous. Those people were clearly killed by you, and now you actually want me to call for help. Lan Cheng roared. At this moment he still insisted that Lu Ming killed him and snatched his treasure. Lu Ming, although I don't know where you found your helpers, the Lan family is not afraid of you. Lan Cheng continued to speak loudly, and a shocking aura burst out from his body. The Yen, Luo, and Vast Expanse Palace Heavenly Emperors also raised their auras to the maximum. The heavens and earth were filled with the terrifying pressure of the heavenly Tao. Bang, bang, bang. A few body cultivators took a small step forward. This small step caused the entire ground to shake, and the fighting stage under their feet turned into dust. Lan Cheng's group's expressions changed slightly, and they couldn't help but take a few steps back. In the clash of auras, they were at a disadvantage, and this made their expressions extremely ugly. Everyone, are you going to just watch as Lu Ming acts arrogantly? This guy killed people and stole their treasures. His character is extremely vile, but he's very talented. We can't let him continue to grow. Lan Cheng looked at the others. Today, there were not only heavenly emperors from the Yen family and the Luo family. There were also a few other heavenly emperors, but they didn't have a good relationship with the Lan family, so they didn't attack. At this moment, the eyes of these people flickered. They were considering whether to help the Lan family or not. The talent that Lu Ming had displayed was too shocking. If this continued, he would become a peak expert sooner or later. Moreover, he had the help of many powerful experts by his side. They had offended Lu Ming. If Lu Ming did not die, they would be the ones in trouble in the future. Therefore, these people were hesitant. I'm definitely going to get those people today. Lu Ming said coldly and then sent a message. Boom, boom, boom. Just as Lu Ming sent out the news, a violent roar came from the depths of the sky. Then, the sky split open, and a huge palace appeared in the depths of the sky. Above it, there was a gray fog. This is Primal Chaos Palace. Many people's pupils contracted in shock. The Primal Chaos Palace of the Primal Chaos Emperor was extremely famous in the Heaven Realm. Although the Primal Chaos the Arch had died long ago, he had left behind some powerful puppets. More than 10 years ago, they had fought in another battlefield and displayed terrifying strength. Why had the Primal Chaos Hall suddenly appeared here? Everyone was puzzled. At this moment, 9 beams of light flew out from the Primal Chaos Palace. They were 9 figures, each of them exuding an astonishing aura. The Celestial Emperor. The aura of the Heavenly Emperor. The 9 figures were all Heavenly Emperors. Chapter 23-25. I'm not here to reason. Chapter 23-25. I'm not here to reason. In the blink of an eye, 9 figures emerged from the Primal Chaos Palace and stood in the sky above the square. At the scene, everyone held their breath. This was because these 9 figures were all at the Heavenly Emperor realm. 9 Heavenly Emperors had come all at once. What a terrifying force this was. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. These 9 people were Earth 1, Gold 1, and the others. They had been in the vicinity for a long time. They only appeared when Lu Ming sent them a voice transmission. So it's the Dao brothers of the Primal Chaos Palace. The daughter of my Lan family is getting married today. I didn't expect that all of you would be here. It's an honor. Lan Cheng had a bright smile on his face as he greeted Earth 1 and the rest. However, Earth 1 and the rest ignored Lan Cheng and flew directly to Lu Ming. They then bowed to Lu Ming. This subordinate greets the young master. What? Everyone was stunned. Most of the people had a dazed look on their faces. Their eyes were wide open, and their mouths were agape. At this moment, they seemed to have become idiots. What did the 9 heavenly emperors of the Chaos Hall call Lu Ming? Young master? The 9 heavenly emperors of the Chaos Hall were Lu Ming's subordinates? At this moment, many people felt that their brains had turned into mush, and it was difficult for them to think. They even thought that they were dreaming. Lan Cheng's expression also froze. His eyes were wide open with disbelief, followed by a trace of fear. Even the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor and the other elders were a little surprised. They did not expect that Lu Ming had so many terrifying powerhouses behind him. Lu Ming is Lu Ming indeed. Long Chen, Desolate Li, and the others sighed. Next, I want to hang out with Lu Ming. I'll follow him no matter what in the future. I'm not a dog. The unscrupulous monk chanted the name of Buddha madly. Is this my father? Lu Shenhuang mumbled as he looked at the figure standing among the many heavenly emperors. It was as if the stars were surrounding the moon. At this moment, Lu Shenhuang felt a little proud. This was because this person was his father. Although it was the first time they had met, he still felt proud and excited. Primal Chaos Hall, damn it. All of this should have been mine. In the crowd, Yuan Xen was roaring in her heart. Her eyes were red with jealousy. Yuan Xian had seen Earth One and the rest back then. Back then, Yuan Xen and the others had told him that he had to defeat Lu Ming in order to become the young master of the Chaos Hall. However, Lu Ming had defeated him in the end, and he had naturally lost the right to inherit the Chaos Hall. What he didn't expect was that Earth One and the rest were actually powerhouses of the Heavenly Emperor realm. This made him go crazy with jealousy. How great would it be if he inherited all of this? But now, he could only roar in his heart and didn't dare to make a sound. He was extremely sullen. Seniors, there's no need to be so polite. I've troubled all of you today. Lu Ming smiled. Young master's enemies are our enemies. Tu said. He then turned around and looked at Lan Cheng and the others. The 9 heavenly emperors' auras were so terrifying that Lan Cheng and the others' expressions changed drastically as they retreated. The difference was too great. There were more than a dozen heavenly emperors on Lu Ming's side. They completely crushed Lan Cheng and the others. Their expressions were extremely ugly. Hand over those people from back then, not a single one less. Lu Ming stared at Lan Cheng and said coldly, Lu Ming, you're the one who killed them and stole their treasures. The people of the Lan family are only following the rules of the Heaven realm. That's why we're hunting you down. Yet, you harbor a grudge and want to kill them. This is outrageous. How can there be such a reason in the world? Lan Cheng bellowed angrily and continued to quibble. He used the Heaven realm's rules to pressure Lu Ming. Lu Ming sneered. He had already lost his patience and was too lazy to argue with the other party. Lan Cheng, you don't have to quibble here. You're using the Heaven realm's laws to pressure me. I'm not here to reason with you today. I'm here to take someone back. You have to hand him over even if you don't want to. Do you understand? Lu Ming said indifferently. These words made many people's hearts tremble, and they were shocked beyond words. Lu Ming's words were very obvious. They were not here to reason but to demand for the person. The Lan family had to hand the person over regardless of whether they wanted to or not. This was to force the Lan family to hand over their people. A junior was actually forcing a heavenly emperor. No, not just a heavenly emperor, but several powerful forces. This was extremely domineering. Many young people's blood boiled as they watched. In the city of Lan, the Yen family's Celestial the Arch and the others looked terrible. If not for the fact that there were too many experts standing beside Lu Ming, they would have slapped him to death long ago. But now they could only endure it. Hurry up and call for reinforcements. If the Lan family doesn't hand over their people today, I will slaughter 10,000 people from the Lan family and 10,000 people from the Yen family to be buried with Senior Bai Tai. Lu Ming said coldly. He had already lost his patience. You dare! In Lan City, the Yen clan's Celestial the Arch bellowed. Why not? Kill. Lu Ming shouted and rushed to the Lan family's area where countless Lan family disciples were gathered. You're looking for death. Lan Cheng bellowed in anger and wanted to deal with Lu Ming. However, Earth 1 threw a punch and mountains appeared, forcing Lan Cheng to retreat. A great emperor from the Lan family was about to make a move. Gold 1 appeared, and a terrifying aura burst out. All the great emperors from the Lan family vomited blood and retreated. Kill! Lu Ming let out a long howl and threw a punch. Bang! Bang! There were 7 to 8 true Emperor Realm powerhouses from the Lan family who were blown up by Lu Ming, their flesh and blood flying everywhere. Lu Ming showed no mercy to the Lan family. Bai Tai was killed by the Lan and Yen families. He must take revenge. Lu Ming, you're crazy. You killed the Heaven Realm's experts. These people are the forces against the alien race, but you killed your own people. Are you a spy for the alien race? Lan Qing roared. He was about to go crazy. Lu Ming was too decisive. He attacked immediately and killed the Lan family's experts. At this moment, the people of the Lan family scattered in fear. Haha, these pieces of trash can't even kill a few outsiders. I alone can kill 1,000 times, 10,000 times the number of non-humankind beings. I alone can fight against an army of 10,000 men and horses. Kill. Lu Ming let out a long howl and threw another punch. A few Lan family experts were blown up. Run, run. Lan Yun was also mixed in with the crowd. He was running away in fear. To him, Lu Ming was simply a lunatic. However, at the next moment, he shouted in horror because Lu Ming had his eyes on him. Lu Ming appeared above his head in a flash and stomped on Lan Yun's face. Lan Yun screamed in pain and his body fell heavily to the ground. He kept screaming in pain. Let go of Lan Yun. Lan Qing bellowed, his eyes red. Lan Yun wasn't an ordinary person, he was a peak-grade Heaven's Pride expert and had the potential to become a Heaven Sovereign in the future. He couldn't die. He charged at Lu Ming with all his might, but he was blocked by 2. Hand him over. Lu Ming's reply was a simple word, his voice resounding and powerful. At this moment, the scene was silent, and time and space seemed to have frozen. There was only one person in everyone's eyes, and that was Lu Ming. Who would have thought that such a scene would happen today? Lu Ming killed the Lan family's experts in front of Lan City and the Heavenly Emperor, while Lan City was helpless. Chapter 23-26, The Lan Family's Peerless Expert. Chapter 23-26, The Lan Family's Peerless Expert. The Luo clan's Celestial the Arch, the Master of the Eternal Star River, and the others all had ugly expressions on their faces. However, none of them made a move. The forces that Lu Ming had brought were too powerful. If they made a move against more than 10 celestial thearchs, they would only be courting death. Young man, you've gone too far. At this moment, a voice suddenly rang out. The voice came from the depths of the Lan family. The voice was old and seemed to be filled with the aura of time. It was nothing to ordinary people, but when the Hengyu Celestial the Arch, Earth 1, Gold 1, and the others heard this voice, their faces changed drastically and revealed a grave expression. This was because this voice brought them great pressure. Ancestor, ancestor. Lan Qing shouted in excitement. Many people were shocked. Legend had it that the Lan family had a peerless expert guarding it. He had been hiding in the depths of the Lan family and was in seclusion all year round. That was a 4-star heavenly emperor. Could it be this one? Was the Lan family's peerless expert about to be born? Boom. Just as everyone was lost in their thoughts, an aura burst out from the depths of the Lan family. This aura was ancient and powerful, shaking the world. Even the heavenly emperor realm figures could feel the terrifying pressure, and their faces turned extremely serious. Boom. It was as if an ancient heavenly Tao was pressing down on everyone's hearts. Many of the weaker cultivators had to kneel down. Then, a figure appeared in the depths of the Lan family. It was an old man wearing a coarse linen robe. His white hair fluttered in the wind as he walked through the air. Every step he took seemed to be stepping on people's hearts, making their hearts beat faster. We pay our respects to the ancestor. The people of the Lan family saluted one after another, their faces revealing wild joy. Ah, the Lan family's old ancestor has been born. Lu Ming, you dare to kill a member of the Lan family? You're dead. You're dead. I'm going to skin you alive and pull out your tendons so that you'll never be able to reincarnate. Lan Yun roared, his face filled with madness and malevolence. Is that so? In that case, I can't let you go even more. Lu Ming's expression was calm as he spoke indifferently. His voice was filled with cold, killing intent. Lu Ming, what are you trying to do? Lan Yun's expression changed drastically as he roared. Bang! Lu Ming stomped down hard on Lan Yun's face. A terrifying force burst out. Lan Yun screamed in pain. All the bones in his body were shattered by Lu Ming. His meridians were also blasted into pieces by Lu Ming. Lan Yun turned into a pile of mud and collapsed on the ground. His eyes were wide open and filled with disbelief. He wasn't dead, but he couldn't even scream. The others gasped and looked at Lu Ming in shock. They thought that Lu Ming would not dare to make a move now that the unparalleled expert of the Lan family had appeared. However, he had severely injured Lan Yun with one kick in front of the unparalleled expert of the Lan family. Lu Ming, you're courting death. Lan Qing roared. The Lan family's patriarch's face darkened. The other party actually severely injured Lan Yun right in front of him. This was completely smacking his face. Young people are young and impetuous, not knowing the severity of things. Now, let go of Lan Yun, kneel down and cripple your cultivation. The Lan clan's ancestor coldly spoke. Get lost. Lu Ming's response was only one word, get lost. This word made everyone's expression change drastically. Lu Ming was simply too audacious. He actually asked a peerless expert to get lost? The Lan family's patriarch's face turned completely dark as he said coldly, "You're so young, yet you don't know your place. I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders." As soon as the Lan family's patriarch finished speaking, he took a step forward and charged toward Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. However, the next moment, an old man appeared in front of Lu Ming. He was a grand elder of the body cultivators. Get lost. The Lan family's ancestor shouted coldly as he stretched out a large hand and grabbed at the body cultivator grand elder. He was a peerless powerhouse, and ordinary heavenly emperors were no match for him. However, this body cultivator grand supreme elder had a calm expression as he threw a punch. Bang! The physical cultivator grand elder's fist collided with the Lan family patriarch's palm. However, the result was beyond everyone's expectations. The Lan family patriarch's expression changed drastically, and his body trembled as if he had been electrocuted. He retreated continuously. One of his arms was deformed. As for the body cultivator grand elder, his body didn't even shake. Everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes. This body cultivator was actually able to force back the Lan family's peerless expert with one punch. This was too shocking. Could he also be a peerless expert? Lu Ming's expression was calm. There was indeed an unparalleled expert among the body cultivators. He was the most powerful grand elder of the immemorial body cultivators. So you're a fellow Taoist. I'd like to experience it today. The Lan family's patriarch spoke coldly as he pushed his strength to the limit. Boom! The Lan family's patriarch's body enlarged rapidly, turning into a giant that could support the heavens and earth. He struck out a terrifying move. A divine light slashed down violently at the body cultivator elder. Heavenly emperor powerhouses were able to borrow the power of the heavenly Tao to launch terrifying attacks. This beam of divine light contained the power of the heavenly Tao, which was indestructible and could destroy everything. However, the body cultivator grand elder still only threw a punch. This punch seemed to be able to pierce through the universe and destroy the heavenly Tao. Boom! The divine light that the Lan family patriarch had sent out was pierced through. The terrifying fist force pierced through the heavens and earth. The Lan family's ancestor let out a muffled groan as his body retreated rapidly. After retreating tens of thousands of miles, his body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, their hearts in turmoil. The Lan family's ancestor had been defeated. He had been beaten by a body cultivator to the point where he spat out blood in one move. He was completely outmatched. How did this happen? Lan City, the other members of the Lan family, and the Yen family's celestial the Arch were all shocked and in disbelief. Even the Lan family's old ancestor was no match for him and was injured by a single punch. Lan Yun's eyes revealed a look of despair. "Hand him over." At this moment, Lu Ming continued to speak, his voice getting colder. The Lan family's ancestor sighed and revealed a helpless expression. He understood that he was no match for the old body cultivator. If he were to fight, he would definitely be the one to die. "Lu Ming, the Lan family can hand over the person, but you have to let Lan Yun go." The Lan family's patriarch looked at Lu Ming. "Let Lan Yun go? Are you waiting for him to take revenge on me? Didn't you hear him shouting that he wanted me to suffer a fate worse than death? Moreover, in the past, Lan Yun wanted to kill me at every turn. I've already let him off a few times, but he didn't know how to cherish the opportunity. Then there will be no future." Lu Ming said coldly. Lan Yun revealed an expression of fear and despair, wanting to struggle with all his might. However, all the bones and meridians in his body had been shattered by Lu Ming. He could not move at all. Boom! Lu Ming's energy burst forth and bombarded Lan Yun's body. Lan Yun's body immediately exploded, turning into ashes and dissipating. A top-notch genius was killed by Lu Ming just like that. The eyes of Lan City and the other experts of the Lan family turned red, and their hearts were bleeding. The Lan family had produced many Heaven's favorites in this generation. They only had 2 top Heaven's favorites, but now one of them was killed in front of everyone. Moreover, he did it in front of Lan City, the Lan family's ancestor, and countless experts. This was a slap in the face. Chapter 23-27, Crushing a True Emperor. Chapter 23-27, Crushing a True Emperor. The Lan family's patriarch, Lan Cheng, and the rest were shocked and furious. Cold, killing intent emanated from their bodies, and they could not wait to slap Lu Ming to death. However, when they saw the Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor, the Body Cultivators, and the 9 Heavenly Emperors of the Primal Chaos Palace, they held back. With so many Heavenly Emperor powerhouses, there were even peerless powerhouses. This force was enough to wipe the Lan family off the face of the earth. Therefore, they did not dare to kill Lu Ming. In fact, if they wanted to kill Lu Ming in the future, they would not dare to let anyone know. Otherwise, this force would be enough to kill them. They were mad with hatred, but now they could only hold it in. "Hand him over." Lu Ming spoke indifferently again. Lan Cheng was so angry that he almost vomited blood. The other members of the Lan family were the same. The Lan family's patriarch's face was extremely gloomy as he squeezed out a word, "Hand over." "Go and find those people who attacked Lu Ming back then," Lan Cheng ordered. Not long after, a few true Emperor realm powerhouses from the Lan family arrived. They were the ones who had killed Bai Tai and Lu Ming. At this moment, these people looked at Lu Ming in horror. "Yen family, where are your people?" Lu Ming looked at the Yen family's celestial the Arch and said coldly, "The Yen family's people are not here. It will take time to call them over." The Yen clan's heavenly emperor spoke. "They'll be waiting here." Lu Ming spoke calmly and really started to wait there. At the scene, everyone was discussing in low voices. No one left and they all waited here. Time passed day by day. Finally, a ray of light rushed over from the distance. The Yen clan had arrived. Some of them were the ones who had attacked Lu Ming back then. When they saw Lu Ming, their expressions changed drastically. They were in disbelief. They had thought that Lu Ming was dead. They did not expect that Lu Ming was not dead and was still alive and well. Then, an expert from the Yen family explained everything to the Yen family. He didn't tell them before because he was afraid that they would resist and escape. Upon hearing this, the Yen family members were horrified. They could not believe that Lu Ming had actually forced the Yen family's celestial the Arch to hand them over. Back then, it was the Yen family's celestial the Arch who ordered them to attack Lu Ming. Now, the Yen family's celestial the Arch was going to hand them over for self-protection. However, they didn't dare to make a sound. This was the Heavenly Emperor's decision, and they couldn't go against his orders. They still had their family and friends. There were dozens of people from the Lan and Yen families. Lu Ming's gaze swept across these people. He remembered each and every one of them very clearly. When Lu Ming's gaze swept over them, these people revealed looks of fear. Boom. Lu Ming took a step forward and the void trembled. I can give you a chance to fight me. As long as you can kill me, you can live. Lu Ming said indifferently. The eyes of the Lan family and the Yen family lit up. Even the eyes of the Lan family's patriarch, Lan Cheng, and the Yen family's celestial the Arch lit up. Although Lu Ming had defeated Shenhuang Yi's combat strength was only at the level of a rank 15 true emperor. These people, on the other hand, had the combat strength of a rank 17 true emperor. One of them had even made a breakthrough in the past 2 years and reached the level of a rank 18 true emperor. Among them, there were more than 10 with the battle strength of a level 16 and level 15 true emperor. Such power was enough to kill Lu Ming. This was a great opportunity. Lu Ming was courting death. If he killed Lu Ming like this, the Heavenly Emperor of the Primal Chaos Palace, the Body Cultivator Heavenly Emperor, and the others would have nothing to say. Promise him that you'll kill him when you have the chance. I'll reward whoever kills him handsomely. I'll do my best to help you become a great emperor. Lan Qing transmitted his voice to those people. The eyes of those people lit up, especially the eyes of the strongest experts. This time, it might be a blessing in disguise. As long as he killed Lu Ming, he would be heavily rewarded. Bang, bang. Lu Ming stepped in the air as if he was a prehistoric giant beast. With every step he took, the air rumbled and he charged toward the true emperors of the Lan and Yen families. Do it! One of them suddenly roared and charged at Lu Ming. A single move would affect the whole body. One person took action and led the others to charge toward Lu Ming. There were dozens of true emperors, and even the weakest of them had the battle power of a 10th level true emperor. With so many of them attacking together, the power was astonishing. Dozens of attacks were launched at Lu Ming from all directions, trying to drown him. Can Lu Ming be his match? Everyone's eyes were fixed on the scene. Boom. At this moment, Lu Ming made his move. He completely ignored the attacks in front of him and charged forward in an overbearing manner. The attacks landed on Lu Ming's body and were destroyed. Kill! Lu Ming let out a long howl and swung his fists continuously. Streams of terrifying fist force blasted forward. In front of him, there were 5 to 6 figures whose bodies were as big as watermelons. They were directly blown up in the air by Lu Ming. So strong. Many people's hearts trembled. Those 5 to 6 people were all at least at the 10th level of the true emperor realm. There was even one at the 15th level of the true emperor realm. However, they were still blown up by Lu Ming with one punch. After killing 5 to 6 people, Lu Ming did not stop and continued to kill his way forward. Lu Ming exerted the strength of his body to the extreme. At the same time, he also unleashed the power of the world and used a few types of laws. Lu Ming had only used 4 types of laws, but these people were no longer his match. Boom. A fist force as thick as a mountain blasted a big hole in the void and crushed forward. Where the fist force passed, another 5 or 6 people were killed. One of them was a rank 16 true emperor. This made everyone gasp. Everyone finally understood that Lu Ming had not used his full strength in his battle with Shenhuang Lu. Otherwise, he could have killed Shenhuang Lu in one move. Shenhuang Lu's expression was terrible. Those below level 15 of the true emperor stage retreat and attack from a distance. Those above level 15 of the true emperor stage Someone shouted. Instantly, they formed a temporary formation. Those below rank 15 true emperor would retreat and attack Lu Ming from the back. Those with the combat strength of a level 15 true emperor started to attack Lu Ming. In particular, there were 2 level 17 true emperors and 1 level 18 true emperor. Their combat strength was the most shocking and they launched a sure-kill attack. Die! Lu Ming did not dodge but threw a punch. An expert with the combat power of a level 17 true emperor was directly defeated by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's fist force did not stop and crushed his body. He let out a cry of despair as his body was torn apart. Buzz! Lu Ming's body spun and his right leg swept out like a long whip towards another rank 17 true emperor powerhouse. This person could not withstand a single blow. Just like the previous one, he was sent flying tens of thousands of miles away by Lu Ming's leg and exploded. What? Everyone was shocked. In particular, those who had fought with Lu Ming were shocked. They looked frightened and incredulous. The two powerhouses with the combat power of a rank 17 true emperor could not even withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. They were like babies. Lu Ming's combat strength was too terrifying. Chapter 23-28. The other people who were fighting with Lu Ming were even more shocked. They were almost scared to death, especially the rank 18 true emperor expert. He could easily kill 2 rank 17 true emperors, but he could not. Lu Ming's combat strength was far above his. Run, run. The remaining people only had this thought in their minds. They turned around and ran. The one with a rank 18 true emperor's combat power was the fastest to run. You want to leave? A cold glint flashed across Lu Ming's eyes. His 6-feathered divine wings appeared. With one flap, Lu Ming caught up with the man who had the combat power of a rank 18 true emperor. Seeing that he could not escape, the rank 18 true emperor turned around and roared. He exploded with all his power and charged at Lu Ming. However, it was all in vain. Lu Ming's punch landed and directly destroyed the opponent's attack. It pierced through the opponent's body and the terrifying force tore the opponent's body apart. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and grabbed the other party's world core. A rank 18 true emperor was also killed instantly. Many people were so shocked that they could not speak. This kind of combat strength was truly terrifying. What was the combat power of a rank 18 true emperor? That was, one had to have an ultimate law and control 9 king path laws at the same time to have the battle power of a rank 18 true emperor. Those who could reach this step were all top-tier heaven's favorites. Some people only comprehended an ultimate maxim after becoming a monarch, but they were also terrifying geniuses. Their future achievements would be limitless. It was obvious that the other party was such a character. The hearts of Lan Cheng and the others were bleeding. Today they lost Lan Yun one after another, and also that expert just now. This was an absolutely unimaginable loss. However, they could only watch helplessly as those people were killed by Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming let out a long howl and flapped his 6-feathered wings continuously. He was extremely fast as he charged towards the remaining people. Those people screamed and begged, but it was useless. It was too late for them to regret. They were hunted down by Lu Ming one by one. Not long after, dozens of powerhouses had all fallen and the world core was dug out by Lu Ming. What kind of combat strength is this? An 18th level true emperor can't even fight back. This is too shocking. From now on, no one in the younger generation will be able to compete with Lu Ming. His opponents will be those of the older generation. The so-called 9 absolutes can't even withstand a single blow from him. Countless people were discussing, and their hearts were in turmoil. How did this happen? Stellar River, Yuan Exin, and the other prodigies who had grudges with Lu Ming were all dumbfounded. Their eyes were wide open in disbelief. During the 10 Lands battle, although Lu Ming was strong, there was a limit to how much stronger he was. Moreover, even if Lu Ming could not become a martial emperor, they were confident that they would surpass him and crush him in the future. However, it had only been a few years and Lu Ming's ability had already reached a height that they could not hope to reach. The gap was too great. The current Lu Ming could kill them with one finger. They were still at the empty emperor realm, while Lu Ming could even kill a rank 18 true emperor. They were completely incomparable. He's awesome. I'll definitely follow him in the future. The unscrupulous monk kept calling out. We have to work hard too. Otherwise, Lu Ming will leave us in the dust. Indeed. Long Qin, Feng Ling, and the others sighed. Father, Mother is right. Father is indeed unparalleled in the world. No one can compare to you. Looking at Lu Ming in the air, Lu Shenhuang clenched his fists in excitement. In Lan City, the Yen family's celestial the Arch, the Lan family's patriarch, and the others were all furious and filled with killing intent. However, they could only hold back their anger. "Let's go!" The Lan family's old ancestor snorted coldly and turned around to take a step forward, wanting to leave. Lan Cheng and the others were the same. "Wait a moment." Lu Ming's voice was heard. The Lan family's ancestor and the rest stopped. "What else do you have to say?" Lan Cheng asked, suppressing his anger. "Master Lan is really forgetful. I won first place, so where are the 100 chaos gems? Give them to me." Lu Ming said indifferently. Lan Cheng was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Lu Ming had killed so many people from the Lan family today. Now, he was actually asking him for stones of chaos. This was preposterous. "What's wrong? Your Lan family said it yourself. Don't tell me you don't want to admit it? Or perhaps, you're toying with the others like monkeys?" Lu Ming said indifferently. Lan Cheng was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. "Give it to him," the Lan clan's old ancestor said. In the end, Lan Cheng had no choice but to take out a storage ring and throw it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took it and saw that there were 100 chaos gems inside. Thank you. These chaos gems can help my cultivation level improve again." "Ha!" Lu Ming laughed heartily. Lan Cheng's eyelids and lips trembled non-stop. "Thank you, Mayas. If not for the circumstances, why would I give Lu Ming 100 chaos gems? It was for Yuanyi. Let's go." Lan Cheng squeezed out a word from the depths of his throat and turned to leave. The people from the Lan family, the Yen family, and those who were related to the Lan family all left and entered the large palace in the depths of the Lan family. Lu Ming did not let Earth One, Gold One, or other body cultivators to keep the other party. With their strength, they were enough to flatten the Lan family. However, the Lan family and the Yen family were, after all, major forces with ancient inheritances. With a few heavenly emperors, they would be of great use to the heaven realm. If Lu Ming completely razed the Lan family to the ground because of Bai Tai's matter, he was afraid that the other celestial emperors in the heaven realm would intervene and stop him. Moreover, the Lan family's old ancestor was a peerless expert. If they were to run for their lives, they had no confidence in keeping him here. If a berserk peerless expert were to take revenge, that would be too terrifying. But now, the other party was worried about Lu Ming's strength and definitely did not dare to take revenge. At least, they would not dare to take revenge openly. Everyone in the surroundings sighed. They didn't think that today's matter would turn out like this. The Lan family and Shenhuang Lu were supposed to be the stars of the day. Shenhuang Lu had defeated Lin Xiaofeng and reached the top, becoming the #1 genius in the world. However, everything had changed drastically because of Lu Ming's appearance. In the end, the Lan family and the Yen family suffered heavy losses and left dejectedly. Lu Ming became the main character of the day. "Ha, Lu Ming, long time no see." The heartless monk rushed out with a face full of smiles. Long Chen, Huang Ling, Huang Li, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others also stepped into the air and came to Lu Ming's side. Lu Ming greeted everyone one by one. "Brother Long, this is for you." A jade bangle appeared in Lu Ming's hand and he passed it to Long Chen. This was Long Chen's fiancée, and Xian Yanlin had asked Lu Ming to give it to Long Chen. When Lu Ming was in the Divine Wilderness continent, he had taken the time to meet Xian Yanlin and told her about Long Chen's current situation. She then asked Lu Ming to help Long Chen wear a bangle. Long Chen's eyes flickered. He took the bangle and cupped his fists at Lu Ming. "Many thanks." "You're welcome. Xian Yanlin asked me to pass you a message. She said that she'll wait for you, no matter how many years it takes." Lu Ming said. Long Chen didn't say much, but his eyes were teary. "Father." At this moment, a voice was heard. Lu Shenhuang walked over. Chapter 23-29, Divine Wilderness. Lu Ming looked over and asked, "Where is your mother now?" "It's in the Taiqing heavenly region, not far from here." Lu Shenhuang said. "All right, let's leave this place first. Take me to your mother." Lu Ming said. Then, the group left Blue Moon City. Hundreds of thousands of miles away, Lu Ming, Long Chen, Earth One, Gold One, the Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor, and the others bade farewell and headed in a certain direction with Lu Shenhuang. Along the way, the father and son talked a lot. Lu Ming also found out that Xian Yanqing had come to the Tai Ching heavenly region more than 10 years ago. All these years, he had been cultivating in the Tai Ching heavenly region and had even taught Lu Shenhuang how to cultivate. Lu Ming was secretly amazed. In just a dozen years, Xian Yanqing was able to bring Lu Shenhuang's cultivation to the 3-star illusionary emperor stage. His combat strength was even more shocking. Lu Shenhuang's talent was undeniably shocking, but it had a lot to do with Xian Yanqing's method of teaching. Divine Wilderness, has there been anything unusual about your mother all these years? Lu Ming asked. There are. Lu Shenhuang nodded his head and his face turned serious. In mother's body, there seem to be 2 people who sometimes love me dearly and sometimes treat me coldly. But they have one thing in common, and that is that they will seriously teach me how to cultivate. Like this. Lu Ming muttered, his heart heavy. He recalled the time in the land of infinite demons. Wasn't Xian Yanqing the same? The day before, they were fine. But after that, he wanted to kill him. It seemed like a different person. Until now, Lu Ming still did not know what was going on. This was exactly what Lu Shenhuang had said. The 2 of them chatted as they traveled. This was the first time the father and son had met. At first, they were a little distant, but as they chatted, they felt that their relationship had become closer. Their speed was very fast, and after a few days, they arrived at a mountain range. On the peak of the highest mountain, there was a lake. The lake was like a mirror, adorning the peak of the mountain, making this place look like a peach forest. There was a figure standing by the lake, wearing a black dress. Her long black hair reached her waist and fluttered in the wind, making her look like a goddess who had descended to the mortal world. Little Qing. Lu Ming's heart trembled and a sense of joy welled up in his heart. That figure was definitely Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming would not mistake him for someone else. Even if it was just his back, Lu Ming would not forget it. It had been more than 10 years. It had been more than 10 years since they had parted ways in the land of myriad demons. Mother! Lu Shenhuang shouted and flew towards Xian Yanqing. Divine Wilderness, you are back. Did you gain anything from this trip? What kind of heaven's favorite did I encounter? Xian Yanqing said in a clear voice before turning around. She looked exactly the same as before. After not seeing her for more than 10 years, Xian Yanqing's face had not changed at all. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yanqing in a daze. When Xian Yanqing turned around, he saw Lu Ming. Her words came to an abrupt end and she looked at Lu Ming in a daze. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing muttered in disbelief. She could not believe that she would meet Lu Ming here. Furthermore, Lu Ming came with Lu Shenhuang. This was beyond her expectations. Mother, look who I've brought. Lu Shenhuang flew over. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing murmured. Tears welled up in her eyes as she missed Lu Ming dearly. Then, she stepped into the air and flew toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming also flew over. However, when Xian Yanqing was halfway through her flight, her delicate body trembled. At that moment, her gaze changed. It became as cold as a knife. When she looked at Lu Ming, she was filled with murderous intent. Lowly Aunt Dai. Xian Yanqing's voice was as cold as a knife. A jet-black sword light slashed at Lu Ming. Not good. Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. Xian Yanqing's move was a fatal threat to him. He felt that if he was hit by this move, he would definitely die. Retreat. Lu Ming retreated rapidly. At this moment, Lu Ming burst out with all his strength and retreated like a bolt of lightning. However, the jet-black sword light was like a bone-piercing awl, following closely behind Lu Ming at a speed faster than his. A long spear was condensed in Lu Ming's hands. This long spear was formed by 9 types of laws. It was Lu Ming's most powerful abhijna, the infinite dragon spear. At the same time, Lu Ming's physical strength and world energy burst out. The long spear trembled. At this moment, Lu Ming stabbed out hundreds of times in a row. Hundreds of spear gleams stabbed at the jet-black sword gleam. This could be said to be Lu Ming's most powerful combat ability at the moment. No true emperor could block this move. Boom, boom, boom. A few hundred spear radiances struck the black sword radiance in succession, causing continuous explosions. However, the jet-black sword gleam was extremely sharp. Lu Ming's spear gleam exploded inch by inch and was swept away. Although Lu Ming resisted with all his might and retreated rapidly at the same time, there was still a sharp gleam that swept past him. Even though Lu Ming had activated the imperishable golden body and his physical defense, he could not withstand the attack. His body was almost cut in half and a deep wound appeared. Even his bone armor was broken. Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes filled with shock. Great Emperor! He could clearly sense that Xianyang's cultivation had already reached the Great Emperor realm. This speed was too fast. One must know that Lu Ming's cultivation speed was already astonishingly fast. It could be said that he was advancing at a tremendous pace. However, Xianyang's speed of improvement was even faster than his. He had already entered the Great Emperor realm. Coupled with that terrifying power, Lu Ming was no match for him at all. The difference was too great. Kill! Xianyang's was surprised to see that his attack did not kill Lu Ming. He shouted and charged at Lu Ming again. Mother, don't. At this moment, Shenhuang Lu shouted and rushed over in a panic. Hearing Lu Shenhuang's voice, Xianyang's body trembled and she stopped her pursuit. Her eyes were filled with struggle. Mother, don't kill father. Don't. Lu Shenhuang shouted as he rushed forward and stood in front of Xianyang. Lu Ming seized the opportunity to circulate the indestructible ancient scroll with all his might and focus on recovering from his injuries. His wounds were recovering at an astonishing speed. Little Qing, wake up, it's me. Lu Ming shouted. Mother, it's father. Lu Shenhuang also shouted. The struggle in Xianyang's eyes grew stronger and stronger. Finally he shouted, Lu Ming, leave quickly. Leave quickly. With that, Xianyang turned around and disappeared in a flash of light. Little Qing. Lu Ming shouted and chased after him at top speed. However, Xianyang was too fast. He was nowhere to be seen. Damn it, what's going on? Lu Ming roared angrily. He really could not figure it out. Xianyang's condition didn't seem like he had been possessed. When they first met, it was indeed Xianyang. However, it was as if he had become a different person. Lu Shenhuang was also at a loss. He did not expect that the meeting between his parents would end up like this. Chapter 23:30. The father and son stood in place, looking at each other, not knowing what to do. Lu Ming. At this moment, a voice was heard. Lu Ming turned around and saw a graceful figure in a long white dress. She looked almost the same as Xianyang, peerless in beauty. Thank you, Yuanyi. Lu Ming was at a loss for words. He had never expected that Xianyang would be nearby. Back at Yuan Mountain, Lu Ming had gone to the ancient sacred clan to look for Xianyang. His purpose was to find out about Xianyang. However, the people of the ancient sacred clan told him that Xianyang had left and no one knew where he was. It turned out that Xianyang had also come to the heavenly realm. Aunt. Lu Shenhuang let out a smile and flew over. It was obvious that Lu Shenhuang and Xianyang knew each other. Xianyang flew in the air and stopped in front of Lu Ming. He sized him up curiously. Lu Ming, I haven't seen you for many years. Your cultivation has improved a lot. Xianyang smiled. I can't compare to you, Lu Ming said. He sized up Xianyang and the surprise in his eyes intensified. Unfathomable. In his eyes, Xianyang was unfathomable. He had no idea what Xianyang's current realm was. However, he was definitely not a true emperor, nor was he a true emperor. He was definitely above a true emperor. Great Emperor realm. It was very likely that Xianyang's cultivation was also at the Great Emperor realm. At the thought of this, Lu Ming was dumbfounded. What was going on? How could Xianyang and Xianyang's cultivation speed be so fast? Lu Ming had to go through countless hardships to reach his current cultivation level. The other Heaven Realm Heaven's Pride experts were even weaker. For example, Yuanyi only had the combat power of a level 15 true emperor. However, he was the strongest after Lu Ming. However, Xian Yanqing and Xian Yanjuan, who were about the same age as Lu Ming and the rest, had already broken through to the great emperor realm. If this were to spread out, it would probably scare people to death. Lu Ming, don't you want to know why Xian Yanqing is like this now? Xian Yanjuan smiled. You know. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Of course one know. Let's go to the side and talk. Little guy, don't follow me. Xian Yanjuan said to Lu Shenhuang before he walked towards the center of the lake. Lu Ming followed behind him. The two of them came to the center of the lake and stood on the surface. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yanjuan, waiting for her answer. Do you know about your past and present life? Xian Yanjuan retorted. Past and present life? Lu Ming was stunned. Xian Yanjuan did not answer. He only smiled at Lu Ming. You mean reincarnation, past life and present life? Lu Ming asked. That's right, reincarnation, past life and present life. Xian Yanjuan nodded. How is that possible? As far as one knows, although the world has the law of reincarnation, no one can be reincarnated. Once you die, your body dies and your Tao vanishes, everything becomes nothing. Lu Ming said. At Lu Ming's current cultivation level, he understood more. No one in the world could reincarnate. At most, one could possess a body. Even a peak heavenly emperor invincible powerhouse would not be able to reincarnate. Moreover, Lu Ming had once asked the reincarnation emperor about it, and the reincarnation emperor had given him a similar answer. They can't be reincarnated because those people are too weak. As long as their cultivation realm is high enough, anything is possible. Xian Yanjuan said with a hint of disdain. Lu Ming was tongue-tied and did not know how to answer for a moment. Too weak? A peak heavenly emperor was too weak in Xian Yanjuan's words? A peak heavenly emperor was already an unrivaled powerhouse in this world. According to Lu Ming's knowledge, only the ancestral dragon was above the heavenly emperor. Could it be that there was reincarnation above the heavenly emperor? You're saying that little Qing is the reincarnation of an expert, and her memories of her past life have been awakened? With Lu Ming's intelligence, he immediately thought of many things. That's right. Xian Yanqing is indeed the reincarnation of a powerful figure. Moreover, the memories of her previous life have been awakened. That's why when you see Xian Yanqing, it's as if there are two people in her body. Originally, the awakening of the memories of my previous life should be melded with the memories of this life. In the end, with the memories of my previous life as the dominant factor, it's highly possible that I'll once again step onto the unparalleled path and even surpass my previous life. However, Xian Yanqing didn't want to merge his previous life with his current life. Once he did, he would have to use his previous life's memories as the main focus. If that happened, he wouldn't be the Xian Yanqing he is now. That's why this is happening. Xian Yanjuan explained. So it's like this, so it's like this. After Xian Yanjuan's explanation, Lu Ming had a sudden realization. Reincarnation actually existed in this world. Xian Yanqing had awakened the memories of his past life, but he was unwilling to merge them together. Xian Yanqing definitely couldn't let go, so he didn't want to merge with her. Therefore, it was as if there were two people in Xian Yanqing's body. One moment he was controlled by the memories of his previous life, and the other moment he was controlled by the memories of this life. Xian Yanqing must have been an extremely powerful expert in his past life. However, Lu Ming had taken possession of his body and his chastity. Xian Yanqing felt humiliated, so he wanted to kill Lu Ming the moment he saw him. Many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Also, back in the demonic sea of the land of infinite demons, those black-robed men had stolen the ancient demon coffin and placed Xian Yanqing inside. It was very likely that they were trying to help Xian Yanqing regain his memories. Lu Ming had figured everything out. Lu Ming took a deep breath and looked at Xian Yanjuan. You're also a reincarnation of an expert, right? Not bad. In my previous life, Xian Yanqing and I were sisters. Xian Yanjuan smiled. Lu Ming was slightly taken aback. In his previous life, Xian Yinjuan and Xian Yinqing were biological sisters. They had both reincarnated and were still sisters after reincarnation. No wonder they looked so similar. And it was obvious that Xian Yanjin's memories of his past life and present life had merged. However, in the history of the heaven realm, were there such two strong people? What level were you at in your previous life? Could it be the realm above Heavenly Emperor? Lu Ming was very puzzled. More questions emerged in his heart. Above Heavenly Emperor? Forget it, one won't talk about this anymore. You won't understand anyway. 111 Teach you how to help Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanjuan said. You have a way? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Of course. You just need to help her and let her memories of her past and present life merge together. That's all. Xian Yanjuan said. No, according to what you said, the memory of the previous life and the current life will merge, and the previous life will be the dominant one. At that time, little Qing will not be little Qing. Lu Ming shook his head. This was hard for him to accept. Who said that after the fusion, the previous life must be the dominant one? Xian Yanjuan pouted. Right now, Xian Yanqing has two memories. He's fighting for control. Whoever has the upper hand and has the absolute advantage in devouring the other's memory will naturally be the dominant one. For example, if Xian Yanqing's memory of this life prevailed and he devoured the memory of his previous life, it would only mean that he had an extra memory. It would have no effect on his personality. Xian Yanqing would still be Xian Yanqing. Do you understand? Xian Yanjuan explained. Chapter 23:31. Lu Ming nodded. He could understand this. It was just like how he had fused with some of the 9 dragons' memory fragments back then, but that didn't affect him. It only meant that he had some more memories, but he was still himself and wouldn't become another person. It was the same for Xian Yanqing. As long as Xian Yanqing's memories of this life prevailed and she devoured the memories of her previous life, she would only have some more memories. Not only would she be fine, but she would also obtain a great opportunity. What should I do to make little Qing's memories of this life devour the memories of her previous life? Lu Ming asked. It's simple. Xian Yanjuan smiled slyly and said, actually, you have the advantage now. You have a son, the son of Xian Yanqing and you. With a son by her side, it can greatly affect Xian Yanqing's memory of this life. It will make her more obsessed and reluctant to let go. That's why her memory of this life can't be combined with her memory of her previous life. From now on, as long as you can stay by Xian Yanqing's side and accompany her, her obsession will naturally become stronger. You can even get to know her more and sleep with her more. Her memories of this life will naturally take over and then devour the memories of her previous life. Oh! Lu Ming was somewhat dumbfounded. Sleep with more? It was that simple? How is it? Don't you feel happy? The method I taught you was not bad, right? Xian Yanjuan smiled. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. The memories of her previous life make her hate me to death. I'm afraid she'll kill me before I can even get close to her, let alone sleep with her. Lu Ming touched his nose and said, that's why your cultivation is too weak. You should focus on your cultivation. As long as your cultivation surpasses Xian Yanqing, you will be able to suppress her and subdue her. Then, you will be able to do whatever you want. Xian Yanjuan smiled slyly. Lu Ming was completely speechless. He felt immense pressure. It was mainly because Xian Yanqing's cultivation speed was too fast. As the reincarnation of an expert of unknown strength, even if the memories of his past life and present life were not merged, his cultivation speed was still shocking. Now, he was already in the Great Emperor realm. It was too difficult for Lu Ming to catch up or even surpass Xian Yanqing. Is there no other way besides this? Lu Ming asked, unwilling to give up. No more. Xian Yanjuan shook his head. So you're saying that it's impossible for little Qing to recover in a short time? Lu Ming asked again. Yes, I am. Xian Yanjuan nodded. Lu Ming sighed helplessly. In the end, his cultivation level was too weak. Why are you helping me? Lu Ming asked curiously after a while. It's simple. Once Xian Yanqing devours the memories of her previous life, her cultivation speed will definitely slow down. In the future, she will no longer be my match. Xian Yanjuan chuckled as she spoke. Lu Ming was speechless. It turned out that this was the reason. With the memories of his past life taking over, Xian Yanqing would become a terrifying expert. His cultivation speed would naturally be shocking. However, the memory of this life devouring the memory of the previous life would only give him some more memories. Although it was also a supreme opportunity, there would still be a huge gap. In the end, Lu Ming stayed behind and accompanied Lu Shenhuang for a period of time. He gave Lu Shenhuang some cultivation resources. What Lu Shenhuang cultivated was not the system of laws. It was the system that Xian Yanqing cultivated. Lu Ming had never seen it before, but it was extremely exquisite and its power was shocking. Lu Ming stayed for another month. However, Xian Yanqing did not appear during this month. Lu Ming was helpless. He left a month later. Lu Shenhuang did not leave with Lu Ming. He continued to stay by Xian Yanqing's side. Cultivation. I must speed up my cultivation and help little Qing's memories of this life to devour her memories of her previous life. On the way back, Lu Ming secretly swore. He had thought that his cultivation speed was already very fast. He had even defeated Yuanyi and suppressed all the other geniuses to obtain first place. This made him feel like he was standing at the peak. But now, he was under great pressure. Because of Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's cultivation speed was faster than his. It was easier said than done to catch up or even surpass Xian Yanqing. This forced Lu Ming to keep moving forward. Not long after, Lu Ming contacted Earth One and the rest. Lu Ming brought Earth One and the rest, as well as the physical cultivators, back to Two World City. With the addition of these experts, Two World City's strength had increased greatly. The news of the battle in Blue Moon City had spread throughout the Taiqing heavenly region. Lu Ming's reputation had reached its peak. After defeating Yuanyi, there was no doubt that Lu Ming stood at the peak of the younger generation. Furthermore, the number of celestial thearchs standing behind Lu Ming was even more shocking. There was no doubt that Lu Ming had a great influence in the heaven realm. His influence was even greater than some of the celestial thearchs. After Lu Ming returned to Two World City, he devoted himself to cultivation. Meanwhile, Long Chen, Huang Ling, and Bubbles had also come to Two World City to cultivate. Sometimes, they would go to the battlefields outside the city to train themselves. In addition, people like Heng Xinghe, Yuan Xian, and Tian Ming, as well as the other heaven realm's proud children of heaven, including Jianghu, were all cultivating desperately. The battle at Blue Moon City had let them see Lu Ming's combat strength. Lu Ming had given them unimaginable pressure and made them understand their own shortcomings, forcing all the paragons to cultivate with all their might. In this great era where geniuses were as common as clouds, if one did not progress fast enough, they would be surpassed and crushed by others. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, 5 years had passed. To some emperor-ranked powerhouses, 5 years was merely a blink of an eye. However, to prodigies like Lu Ming and the rest, 5 years was of great significance. In the past 5 years, Lu Ming had made great progress in all aspects. First of all, Lu Ming had already cultivated the Seven Gods' mysterious technique to the late stage of the Fourth Realm. Now, Lu Ming could defeat and even kill a rank 18 true emperor powerhouse with only his physical strength. This was just pure physical strength. However, the drop of ancestral dragon blood at his heart had almost been consumed. There was only a little left. Also, Lu Ming's remaining laws had all reached the Third Realm. Lu Ming's 9 types of laws had all reached the Third Realm. Over the years, Lu Ming had refined all the 100 chaos gems he had obtained from the Land family. His cultivation had reached the peak of a 6-star true emperor and he was not far from becoming a 7-star true emperor. This was an improvement in all aspects. Lu Ming did not know how strong his combat strength was now. Anyway, he could kill a rank 18 true emperor with a snap of his fingers. I wonder how my current strength is compared to a great emperor? Lu Ming pondered in his heart. A great emperor was much, much stronger than a true emperor. A great emperor cultivated all 9 types of nomological laws to the 3rd realm, then used the 9 types of nomological laws to develop a great Tao. Great emperors could use the power of great Taos. Their battle power was far greater than a true emperor's. The difference was too great. Chapter 23:32. Therefore Lu Ming was very curious now. Could he fight against the great emperor? Let's go and try. Lu Ming ended his cultivation and flew in one direction of Two World City. Not long after, Lu Ming came to an extremely open area. It was a drill ground in Two World City. The army and experts of Two World City usually trained here. From afar, Lu Ming could see a few huge light barriers that looked like a few big bowls that were upside down on the ground. All around the light barrier, there were different living beings. There were humans and all sorts of divine beasts. Lu Ming looked over and saw more than 10 true dragons circling the body. They were suspended in the air and were looking at one of the light shields seriously. There were also 8 to 9 phoenixes and more than 10 qilin. Here, divine beasts that were rarely seen in other places could be seen everywhere. The Two World City had gathered almost half of the Supreme Pure Heaven Region 1's powerhouses. Boom, boom. Violent rumbles came from the few light barriers. Someone was fighting inside. Lu Ming flew over and came to one of the light shields. Inside, a human powerhouse and a huge heavenly snake were fighting against each other. Both of them were true emperors with the battle power of a level 15 true emperor. They were considered top experts among true emperors. The living beings standing around the light barrier were at the true emperor realm. This is the place where the true emperors fight. Lu Ming's heart stirred. These light barriers were like battle platforms. They were places for the cultivators of Two World City to battle and train themselves. The light shield was formed by a formation and was firm and immortal. One could unleash their power as much as they wanted in the battle. After all, it was too dangerous to train on the battlefield outside Two World City. A single mistake could cost him his life. Therefore, many people fought and killed each other here to train themselves. Of course, the effect was definitely not as good as on the battlefield, because it was impossible to kill the other party here. At most, they would be seriously injured. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. The moment Lu Ming arrived, many people recognized him and caused a commotion. Many people's faces changed. Could it be that Lu Ming was going to make a move? Who in the true emperor realm could be his match? 5 years ago, Lu Ming could already kill a rank 18 true emperor with ease. Now that 5 years had passed, Lu Ming must have become even more unfathomable. However, Lu Ming had no intention of making a move. He had no interest in the true emperor realm, as it was of no use to him. Lu Ming looked at it for a while and walked towards another light shield. This light barrier was more than 10 times larger than the previous one. Light flowed and flickered with a metallic luster. Inside, there were 2 figures constantly clashing with each other. Terrifying rumbles shook the hearts of the people. The energy shot out in all directions, but it was blocked by the light shield. The light shield kept shaking, but it was not shattered. Great Emperor! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The ones fighting within the light barrier were Great Emperor realm experts. There were also a few people watching around the light barrier, but the number was much smaller. In the heaven realm, there were many true emperors, no less than void emperors. This was because it was not particularly difficult to break through to the true emperor realm from the void emperor realm. As long as he had 3 types of laws, reached the 2nd realm, and his cultivation reached the peak of the 7-star void emperor realm, he would be able to make a breakthrough. As long as one's talent wasn't too bad, it wouldn't be difficult to break through after a long time. However, breaking through to RHE Great Emperor realm wasn't something that could be endured. To break through to the Great Emperor realm, one had to have 9 types of laws and reach the 3rd realm. At the very least, one of them had to be a king path law. Those who were not talented enough would never be able to reach this level in their entire lives. Not to mention, he had comprehended a great Tao with 9 types of nomological laws. There might not even be one great emperor out of 100 true emperors. A great emperor was considered a first-class expert in the heaven realm. He would be respected wherever he went. Therefore, it was normal for great emperors to be rare here. Lu Ming. The great emperor's gazes flickered when they saw Lu Ming walking over. Could it be that Lu Ming wanted to spar with the great emperor? Not only did RHE great emperors think so, but the true emperors from before also thought so. Lu Ming went to the emperor battlefield. Does he want to spar with the emperor? Someone in the true emperor area exclaimed. That's impossible. The difference between a true emperor and a great emperor is too great. Even if Lu Ming can easily kill a level 18 true emperor, it's hard to fight against a great emperor. In history, no one has ever been able to fight a great emperor with the cultivation of a true emperor. Let's go and take a look. Many true emperors were flying toward the battle. Even the battle between the Void Thearchs in the distance was alarmed. Many Void Thearchs also flew over to watch from a distance. Lu Ming did not speak. He stared at the two people inside the light shield. The two people inside the light shield should be two-star great emperors, and their battle was extremely intense. Boom. Boom. The two of them controlled RHE power of the Great Path and continued to bombard it, developing terrifying attacks. Soon, the two were evenly matched, and neither could win. It was a draw, and they were forced out of the light shield. Lu Ming, what are you doing here? Don't tell me you're looking for a great emperor to fight. At this moment, a voice was heard. A burly middle-aged man walked over. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded and did not hide anything. He had come to find a great emperor to fight and test his combat power. Many people were shocked. Lu Ming actually wanted to fight a great emperor. He was so confident. A true emperor fighting a great emperor? I've never heard of that. Aren't you being too arrogant? The middle-aged man sneered and revealed a mocking expression. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. This person ridiculed him the moment he arrived. It seemed like he was very unhappy with him. Which force are they from? Lu Ming pondered in his heart. What's your cultivation level? Lu Ming asked. 1-star great emperor. The middle-aged man replied. Alright, it's you then. I challenge you now. Come in and have a fight. Lu Ming was very direct. He challenged the other party directly. With that, he stepped into the light shield. If one entered from the outside, the light shield would not have the slightest reaction. However, if there was a force inside, the light shield would produce a strong defense. Seeing that Lu Ming actually challenged him, the middle-aged man's eyes glowed with a cold light. Everyone, Lu Ming was too arrogant and challenged me first. I didn't bully RHE weak or the strong. The middle-aged man said with an excited expression. Initially, he wanted to find a reason to challenge Lu Ming. He did not expect Lu Ming to challenge him first. It was exactly what he wanted. Although he was only a 1-star great emperor and had comprehended an ordinary great Dao, he was confident that he could easily suppress Lu Ming. A great emperor wasn't someone a true emperor could compare to. The top heaven's favorites who mastered one supreme law, 8 king path laws and cultivated them to the 3rd level only had the battle power of a rank 18 true emperor. Even the weakest great emperor was much stronger than a rank 18 true emperor. A true emperor couldn't be a match for a great emperor. This was the truth. Chapter 23:33. The crowd was shocked. They did not expect Lu Ming to really challenge a great emperor. Furthermore, he was taking the initiative. A true emperor fighting a great emperor, this was enough to shock the world. Bang! The middle-aged man took a step forward and stepped into the light shield, standing opposite Lu Ming. Who do you think will win, Lu Ming or Lan Imo? Outside, some people started to discuss in low voices. I think Lan Imo will win for sure. Although Lu Ming's combat strength is strong and he could easily kill a level 18 true emperor 5 years ago, the difference between a true emperor and a great emperor is too great. I've never heard of a true emperor fighting a great emperor. Even the strongest true emperor is no match for the weakest great emperor. That's right. Lu Ming is definitely not his match. I'm guessing that Lu Ming will be defeated within 20 moves. 20 moves? If Lu Ming has not made much progress in the past 5 years, I don't think he can even withstand 10 moves. Many people were discussing, but no one thought that Lu Ming could fight against the Great Emperor. The gap between them was too big. Blue membrane? It seems that you are from the Lan family. Lu Ming said indifferently, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. No wonder he was ridiculed by Lan Mo the moment he appeared here. It turned out that he was from the Lan family. That's right, Lu Ming. You're really arrogant. Although I can't kill you here, no one will say anything if I abuse you. Lan Mo said maliciously. Oh really? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Then let me see what you, the number one heaven's pride in the heaven realm, of. Lan Mo said coldly. Then with a loud boom, Lan Mo's figure charged towards Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. He threw a punch at Lu Ming with the force of Mount Tai. At this moment, Lu Ming squinted his eyes. The power of his physical body and the power of the world burst out. Buzz. Lu Ming struck out with his palm. There were 6 types of lusters on his palm, which contained 6 types of laws. Chaos laws, death laws, devouring laws, smithing laws, array laws, and pill laws. This was a sacred art. Lu Ming had obtained the advanced version of the ancient chaos scripture. It recorded many supernormal abilities and contained many types of laws. One of the palm techniques contained 9 types of nomological laws. It was an evolved version of the chaos divine palm. However, Lu Ming had only cultivated 4 of the 9 types of laws. Over the years, Lu Ming had made improvements to them by integrating the death law and other laws into them. It had become Lu Ming's unique divine power, and its power was even more shocking. Lu Ming was casting this kind of divine power. Boom! Lu Ming's palm and Lan Mo's fist collided with a deafening boom. A terrifying force shot out in all directions from the collision of their palms and fists. It hit the light shield but was blocked. Bang! Bang! Their bodies trembled and they both took a dozen steps back. The ground they stepped on exploded. What? Everyone's eyes widened in shock. In the first move, Lu Ming managed to block the blue membrane's attack. The two of them were evenly matched. How was this possible? Lan Mo hasn't used his full strength yet. He's just testing the waters. A great emperor spoke. A great emperor was actually forced back by a true emperor. This was extremely embarrassing. Even the other great emperors felt ashamed. Within the light barrier, the blue membrane was furious. He had actually been forced back by a true emperor. A great emperor being forced back by a true emperor had never happened before. Lu Ming, you've successfully angered me. Kill. Lan Mo roared and pounced toward Lu Ming like a cannonball. He kept punching with both fists. Before his fists even reached Lu Ming, a terrifying pressure was already pressing down on him. That was the pressure of the Great Tao. Great emperors could control great Taos and borrow the power of great Taos to become shockingly powerful. The Great Tao was a profound meaning that was even stronger than laws. It was extremely powerful. Lu Ming was not afraid at all. He waved his palm to meet the attack. This time, there was one more law in Lu Ming's palm. There were 7 types of laws. Bang! Bang! The two of them clashed continuously, and in the blink of an eye, they had exchanged dozens of moves. It was still difficult to determine the winner. The power of a great Tao is indeed amazing. In the middle of the battle, Lu Ming was secretly shocked. Lu Ming's current divine power contained 7 types of laws. However, under the bombardment of the other party's great Tao, it was in imminent danger. It felt as if it was going to be penetrated and torn apart. If not for the fact that Lu Ming's physical strength was extremely strong and made up for this deficiency, he might not be able to fight against the other party. The two of them fought with speed, constantly colliding with each other. The terrifying force bombarded the light shield, causing it to shake violently. Damn it! Lan Mo roared angrily. He had made so many moves but he could not take down Lu Ming. He felt that he had lost face. If he could not defeat Lu Ming today, he would definitely become a laughingstock among the great emperors. On the contrary, he had helped Lu Ming achieve his goal and raised his reputation. Suddenly, Lan Mo's body let out a deafening roar, and a giant lion appeared above his head. This was a golden lion with golden fur that shone with life. It was extraordinarily majestic. This wasn't a real lion, but a divine art formed from the great Tao. This lion was covered by the blue membrane, and the blue membrane was in the center of the lion, as if it had transformed into a golden lion. The golden lion roared and pounced at Lu Ming. "You've finally used your ultimate move?" Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. At this moment, 9 different radiances emanated from Lu Ming's palm. He used all 9 types of laws. The power of this divine power technique was not any weaker than the infinite dragon spear. It was most suitable for close combat. Buzz! Lu Ming's figure also rushed out. He struck out with his palm and the void was shattered, revealing a dark void. His palm seemed to pass through space and struck out. As for Lanimo, he waved a lion's claw and clawed at Lu Ming. Bang! The two of them collided once again. This time, the boom was even more intense, and a terrifying force was triggered. However, the result was that the two of them were still evenly matched, and they were forced to retreat. Impossible! Lanimo roared in disbelief. He had already used all his strength, but he could not take down Lu Ming. He was shocked. He roared in anger and charged at Lu Ming. The two of them fought fiercely. The people watching the battle outside the light barrier were equally stunned and shocked. Oh my God, Lu Ming can actually fight against Lanimo and not be at a disadvantage at all. This is too terrifying. He's only a true emperor, but he's this strong. How is this possible? What's going on? He's also a true emperor, but the other true emperors can't even withstand a single blow from him. Many people couldn't believe it. A true emperor couldn't be a match for a great emperor. This was the truth. But now, the truth had been broken. As a true emperor, Lu Ming's cultivation base was no weaker than a great emperor's. Abnormal. As expected, he was an abnormal being who had become a saint emperor with many laws. He could not be measured with common sense. In the end, everyone could only comfort themselves like this. Chapter 23:34. In the blink of an eye, the two exchanged dozens of moves, but it was still difficult to determine the winner. The great emperor is indeed extraordinary. The great Tao that Lanimo comprehended should only be an ordinary great Tao, but it's so powerful. One wonder how powerful the strongest great Tao is? Lu Ming's mind was filled with all kinds of thoughts. There were 2 types of great Taos. In the true emperor realm, those who had not comprehended an ultimate law and only evolved a great Tao from a king Tao law and ordinary laws were ordinary great Taos. As for those who comprehended the ultimate laws, they were great Taos evolved from one type of ultimate law and all the other king Tao laws. They were called the ultimate great Tao. Among those of the same level, the strongest great Tao was much more powerful than ordinary great Taos. Lanimo had only comprehended an ordinary great Tao and was a 1-star great emperor. He was definitely considered weak among great emperors. If it was a 1-star great emperor who had comprehended the strongest great Tao, Lu Ming would most likely be hard-pressed to defeat him. Then let's change our strategy. There was a flash in Lu Ming's eyes. He suddenly changed his offensive to a full-force attack, completely disregarding defense. This was a desperate fight. Lu Ming's attack changed and increased sharply, suppressing the blue film in an instant. Damn it, you don't care about defense. You think I'm afraid of you? Lanimo roared. He also gave up on defense and attacked with all his might. Normally, when people fought against each other, they would reserve some of their strength for defense. Now that they were going all out to attack, both of them were instantly hit. Bang! Bang! Lanmo's punch landed on Lu Ming's shoulder, and Lu Ming's palm also hit Lanmo's shoulder. The two of them trembled and retreated. The difference was that there was a dent on Lu Ming's shoulder. However, not a single drop of blood flowed out. The wound was healing rapidly. As for Lanimo, he was in a much worse state. It was as if his shoulder had been cut by a battle blade, almost chopping off one of his arms. A deep wound was revealed, and blood was flowing out. Even his bones had been shattered. Lanmo's face was slightly pale. Although the great emperor's recovery ability was also extremely shocking, it could not be compared to Lu Ming's. Kill! Lu Ming did not give the blue membrane any time to recover and launched another attack. Lan Mo was injured and it was almost impossible for him to move one of his arms. His combat strength was greatly reduced and he was at a complete disadvantage. He was no match for Lu Ming. Bang, bang. Following that, Lan Mo was hit continuously by Lu Ming and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Although he managed to hit Lu Ming was not seriously injured and his combat strength was not affected. Indestructible ancient scroll. Lan Mo roared, extremely unwilling. He knew that Lu Ming had used the indestructible ancient scroll and was not afraid of being injured. Bang. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and landed a palm on Lan Mo's face. Lan Mo screamed and his body was sent flying. Blood mixed with his teeth flew out and he hit the light shield. Lan Mo's brain was buzzing, he was completely stunned. Lu Ming would not let go of such an opportunity. He rushed over and punched and kicked Lan Mo's face and body. The blue membrane was like a sandbag. It was instantly bombarded by Lu Ming with dozens of moves. After a few dozen moves, the blue membrane flew out and fell to the ground. It was covered in blood and twitched non-stop. Gasps of shock could be heard. Outside the light barrier, whether it was the Void Emperor, the True Emperor, or the Great Emperor, all of them were so shocked that their mouths were wide open. A Great Emperor had been defeated by a young True Emperor. Furthermore, he had lost so badly. He had been madly abused. He had been abused so badly that even his mother couldn't recognize him. It was really tragic. Needless to say, Lan Mo would definitely become a laughingstock and Lu Ming's reputation would be pushed to the peak. A true emperor had defeated a great emperor. This had completely broken the truth and created a miracle. Not bad. I've had a great time today. Lu Ming laughed. He had basically figured out his own combat strength. Of course, if he used the indestructible ancient scroll and fought with all his might, he would be able to suppress his opponent. He should be able to compete with a one-star great emperor who had comprehended the most powerful great Tao. His main purpose in this battle was to test his abilities. Now that the test was over, Lu Ming decided to leave. Lan Mo's mind was initially clearer. However, after hearing Lu Ming's words, he was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He roared and fainted. "I'm dizzy." Lu Ming pursed his lips. He then took a step forward and left the light shield. When the others saw Lu Ming coming out, they automatically made way for him. This was an invisible force. Lu Ming was so young, but his combat strength had already entered the Great Emperor realm. In a few years, he would be even more impressive and would definitely become an invincible overlord. Lu Ming left the place and returned to his residence. With a thought, his soul appeared in the small world. It appeared on a mountain peak and looked into the distance. The current small world had a radius of 600,000 miles and was boundlessly vast. Moreover, Lu Ming had planted many spiritual and sacred herbs in the small world. He had also scattered the seeds of various plants. Now, there were many places in the small world that were covered in green grass and flowers. There were also some small trees in some places. It was not very old yet, and there were no large trees. Similarly, there were no animals or demonic beasts. However, the small world was becoming more and more similar to the outside world. Lu Ming planned to let some animals, demonic beasts, and the like in the future. That way, it would be no different from the outside world. Of course, although Lu Ming's cultivation level had improved very quickly, there was still a large area of territory that was deathly silent and lifeless. This required time for the vegetation in the small world to slowly multiply. With a thought, Lu Ming came to the Path Understanding Ancient Tree. The Path Understanding Ancient Tree had been planted on a plain. It was now 500 meters tall. This was all due to the five-colored soil. The 500-meter tall Path Understanding Ancient Tree shot up into the sky. Its trunk was extremely thick, and between its branches, there was a great Tao. Cultivating here would greatly increase the speed of comprehending nomological laws. With the ancient martial tree as the center, the plain was covered in green grass and fresh flowers. The fragrance of the flowers assailed the nose. It was mainly because of the five-colored soil that the vegetation in this area was particularly strong. There were also many spiritual and sacred medicines that smelled good. Lu Ming sat cross-legged under the path-understanding ancient tree, cultivating quietly. The news that Lu Ming had defeated Lan Mo was spreading like wildfire. Everyone who heard the news was first shocked, then overjoyed, shocked, jealous, and angry. There were all kinds of expressions and emotions. Lu Ming had caused another wave in the vast land of the Tai-Ching heavenly region. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, the Hengyu heavenly emperor came to Lu Ming's residence. The Hengyu heavenly emperor did not conceal his aura. Lu Ming sensed his arrival the moment he arrived. Lu Ming ended his cultivation and met with the Hengyu heavenly emperor. Senior Hengyu, may I first know why you are looking for Lu Ming? Lu Ming said with a smile. Lu Ming, I heard that you defeated Lan Mo, so one came to take a look. You're really amazing. Even I was shocked. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said with a smile. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.